All right, it is official. We are live. Thank you all for being here. Just get the ball rolling here. Bear with me. Learning OBS day by day. I was messing it up for a few minutes there, but seems like everything's good now. Just get everything set. Tweet out the link. Make sure everything looks good. Chat GPT up. I don't know why I was looking at this. Just randomly curious. I don't know who you guys got in the Super Bowl. If you feel like it, you could let me know in the chat. Honestly, I feel like the Eagles are going to pull it out. I think the most exciting thing is the Kelsey Bowl. To me, that's just pretty awesome. Because they're just both like chill dudes, and their podcast is pretty good. I've enjoyed listening to it here and there. Just like the clips and stuff pops up in my feed. What's going on here? Nothing on my screen. Okay, YouTube. Is it maybe because I'm live? It's not gonna let me give you guys the back office view. Content. What is this? See the copyright. Oh yeah, this was BS. I don't even know where I got that. There's literally nothing in that clip. Hey, okay. So we are live. Damn, I didn't put a thumbnail. SMH, guess it's too late now. What is this? See the copyright. Oh yeah, this was BS. I don't even know where I got that. Okay, there we go. Let's go. Who is Rico? Kaz keeps saying it. Chuju. I'm pretty sure Rico is Marantz's brother, from what I understand. And I don't know why. Like, I don't know like why everyone keeps like bringing him up, or like why Kaz keeps saying it. But that guy Kaz is just a clown. But Marantz is hilarious right now. He's like going at it with Kaz, or maybe his brother's going at it with Kaz. But I know Marantz is really going at it with that guy Ants Trades. And I want to show you guys that real quick. Actually, it's like one of the first things we'll talk about. I find it very odd. This guy like pops out of nowhere and is like AMC is going to 140. Like really? It's very like look how many views in the first hour. I've never heard of this guy. He's never posted. He just posts a picture of an ape. His first ever live stream is only this week. Like why? Like where did this guy come from? At all these views? Like is anybody else wondering this? Like it's just so odd, right? 3 weeks ago was his first ever video. And it's hilarious that today, like, Morantz is a bozo, Morantz is a bozo. But, like, anybody that goes in there and, like, asks him a legit question, he just blocks them. So, I don't know. I don't know who the guy is. I mean, I don't know anything about him, but I just find it very interesting that out of the woodwork, this account comes, oh, AMC this, AMC that. And Bed Bath is all over the place right now, right? And if you're invested in it, I really think you should take a deep look. And I think there's more so an opportunity for a trade. That's just what I think. But in terms of an investment, Bed Bath, I don't know. I'm very skeptical. And now I saw a post today saying like DRS is not doing anything, stuff like that. Bultisa's primary points. I like the stock. Drop a like on that. But you gotta wonder, right? Like anti DRS comments, Bed Bath all out and about as the next play, big squeeze opportunity. AMC out of the woodwork, fighting back against the naked short sellers narrative, all these different things, all right now. Why right now? And something randomly interesting I noticed as well, which I brought this up recently, is that GameStop's institutional ownership has gone up. Printed out this very simple image here. As you can see, it was at this point, right? This is about January 2021, like early 2021, where institutional ownership was this high. We haven't had the same institutional ownership since then. And what I saw today was people are like, oh, well, institutions are buying up shares to loan it to short sellers so they can keep kicking the can down the road forever. I look at it as why did they need to buy a ton of shares now to loan out? Is the pressure must really be on, and there must be like a real desperate need for institution to have those shares. That's my opinion, at least, especially seeing the high cost to borrow. Yes, they're probably loaning it out and saying, well, we're going to make a profit here, but they're still owning the underlying shares. So you'd have to think like there's some merit to that, right? Or some kind of meaning as to why they would own the underlying shares, because there's lots of different ways to make money other than just loaning out stock. But yes, you might be thinking, well, that cost to borrow is extremely high. But beyond that, I think it's pretty obvious that the company has a strong balance sheet and the company isn't going anywhere. And that if there is going to be a demand for shares, wouldn't institutions want to be able to have some of them to meet said demand in the future of potential squeeze scenario, right? Things like that. Those are kind of some of the thoughts I have there in terms of that. But you're welcome to disagree, right? And I just think right now we're in a time period where there's just a lot of noise and a lot of narratives. And I feel like whenever that happens, something's rumbling behind the scenes, and there's a reason everybody has to kind of look left and right and like not so much so focus on GameStop. And right, for example, GameStop's NFT marketplace, I'm going to pull that up. They're moving along, right? You have buckled in a bunny in space. This is an in-browser game just to play and kill some time. But now on the front page of their website, they have Kiraverse. What do they have Undead Blocks here, right? Is it still here? Yep. I forgot the last one. This one here. So like you have these games that are now being introduced. Have you played yet? See Immortal.game. This is chess essentially for Web3. And these games are now featured on the homepage of nft.gamestop.com. So to me, what I see is a company now that actually is putting out products, actually things for people to use. So when you come onto this landing page, you're like, oh, this is about games. Like games are on the front page. Then it's about the NFTs. And I feel like that will kind of put it together in people's heads like, oh, this is about the games and owning the assets within it, not just about like the shiny, ooh, look, I have an NFT, right? Remember when AMC gave away like, ooh, in light of the meme traders, we're giving away I hold AMC NFT, right? Worthless, garbage. What is the underlying utility in that? Nothing. And why it annoys me as well is because what I believe GameStop is doing with utility gets a negative light to it from AMC and things they did, such as like, ooh, look, we're doing an NFT too. Ooh, we're gonna accept crypto in the movie theaters. Like all these different things. So people go, oh yeah, these meme stocks, they just do all this weird crypto stuff and this. It's all, So, but when you look at the company of GameStop and you just focus your energy there, I truly believe you see something great and you just believe in the company in the long term, and everything else is just like just short term noise. And I feel like I've been saying that a lot lately, but it's really how I feel. Like I just feel so like not bothered by like all this other noise out there and other things going on. But let me check chat. Damn, I didn't get by the. I've been slacking today, guys. I don't have my chat on the side. I didn't make a thumbnail, but life's busy. But here we are. Let's see. New plant. Um, no, no new plants. Damn, Xpit is everywhere. Respect. Super Blank, thank you for being here. But if you mean new plant in terms of, oh, he means ant. That's what I think. It seems like the Trey's Trades 2.0. It's very interesting. Jackson, if you could ask Ryan Code just one question, what would it be? Here's mine. Is GME a steal at these prices? Um, Such a good question. What would I ask Ryan Cohen of all things? I feel like I would ask him like, what inspired you to turn around GameStop? Deep value option. My covered calls are up 150% year to date on GME. Went from 600 shares to now 900 in 1 month. LOL. Deep value. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Happy you're doing well out there. Yeah, no, Xbet, I got you, man. I did realize after. Yeah, that's what you meant by plant. I was like, yo, there's no plants around here, and I thought you meant like the lava lamp or something like that. But nah, yeah, it's interesting. Certainly interesting that this guy pops up out of the woodwork, kind of like Trey's Trades, where he just blew up out of nowhere. But this was like that, and he's like, AMC's going to 140. That's a very, very, very bold claim. Very, very bold, especially when you come out of nowhere. Like I'm not out here like, oh, GameStop is gonna go up tomorrow. Like I've really never once said that. I've said at time periods like it could cycle up. It seems like we're kind of going into a time period where things are heating up, but I always just speculate and I just share what like I'm seeing. I think it's just incredibly dangerous for anybody to go out there and be like, this is going to this price by this date, like, and saying buy this call. Like that's like I don't know. It seems dangerous to do. That's all I'm saying. I like just kind of bouncing ideas out here and just talking with the chat and just talking about GameStop. And like what I actually really want to do today is improve upon my Excel file from last time where I was slacking. I was doing some brainstorming today. I feel like we really have to structure it, like in terms of going over the executives and the board members of their name, when they joined GameStop, list their past experience, some of their notable skills, and just other general notes on the individual. So I started this, and then I kind of turned into a Word document because I was just straight winging it last time, and I was tired. And also, I realized, guys, I have to come into these streams more prepared. Like I know, like things like the thumbnail, you're probably like, yo, you didn't even do a thumbnail. Like you're probably like, what do you mean you're not even getting prepared? I mean, I have to like have more structure, right? That's something I definitely struggle with. Like I need structure. Like now I have a structure of how I want to do this Excel file, so I feel like I can like deliver you guys better value in terms of my content. So I'm really just trying to work like that, but also understand like I'm just like everyone else out here. Like if you ever think like, oh, this guy on YouTube is like all this and all that, like I'm literally just like a regular ass dude. Like I'm just in a basement right now, just live streaming and talking about a company I like. So I really feel like this is like what the grit and grind's all about, being like literally underground, and just like doing the DD, doing the research, and just again, like I always kind of say too, like no financial advice, thoughts and opinions only. But also, like to be clear, like I'm never presenting anything groundbreaking where it's like, whoa, you just like it's like an earthquake what you just discovered here. Like I'm always just presenting like how I'm seeing it, like thoughts on top of things, thoughts on top of other people's thoughts on the stock, all those different things. And I feel like it's all just healthy in terms of thinking because so many people now, it's just that's what the news says. No, that's what it's just how everybody is, It's just so many people don't do, I feel like, critical thinking these days, especially with stocks because there's so many buy this stock out here, buy this, or oh, everybody's in the community is a part of it, right? Where that kind of it's just mob mentality. It's not individuals doing DD and doing research. And I feel like that's just really important. And so I kind of want to focus on doing that on these live streams here. So see, I had kind of started this here. I feel like we'll go straight clean sheet. Or no, I guess we could do this. Name, role. So what I have to do first is how do you do format painter? I have to use this for all of here. Year joining company. Yeah, okay, past experience. Then here I'll say skills / notes on individual. Also make this look nice. There we go. Again, nothing groundbreaking, guys. Literally nothing groundbreaking at all. Just nice and simple. I don't know why that's exactly like that. Okay. Did I have all this on the other one? Let's see where we were at. So yeah, I gotta get my other device on the side. I'm slowly learning OBS, like brick by brick. So, and any of you that were there for my stream with Nathan from Florida, super chill dude. Apologize I couldn't like put stuff on the screen. Again, I'm literally just learning as I go. So like I really appreciate you all so much for consistently coming here. Thank you so much. Let's see. Where's Trades these days? He declawed his cat on Twitter and disappeared. I am offering my graphic design experience. If you could use a thumbnail template, it would be an honor, my dude. Rockets to the moon. I mean, if you got something, I'll use it. I mean, I'll check it out. Like, if you have something you want to give me, like, it's up to you. Like, honestly, what I'm thinking, that was an awesome stream. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm looking at this website, right? Like, I've seen, like, it seems fairly reasonably priced. And, like, through this website, like, I feel like I could really optimize the stream very simply, especially as a newbie. And from what I understand as well, I would be able to get background music from here, so that'd be kind of nice, and just a lot of streaming tools. And pricing doesn't seem that bad. Where was it? So I am exploring ideas about like improving the stream. Let's see what we got here. I think I saw it was like $10. Yeah, there's a Twitch chat bot, monitor chat. And yeah, I definitely want to try to do some giveaways too. You could just maybe give away a little bit of loop ring, like nothing crazy at all, just something real simple. And also, if anybody out there needs their wallet activated, just let me know. I'm actually about to activate a few wallets for a few people I know in the very near future. I just have to actually unwrap some of my Ethereum that I had staked through loopring.io. Okay, so this is the pro plan. Okay, the free plan, I mean, I think I'll try that first, obviously, before I sign up for this pro thing. And I wonder if this $10 is consistent or they're just for signing up. But I don't know if any of you guys have any thoughts on this owned or own 3D, whatever you want to call it. What strike prices are she selling deep value? That's a good question. Yeah, see, that's pretty cool. Arcade Pro. And from what I understand as well, you can like mix and match these different things. Okay. Yes, it was great. Interesting. But yeah, I gotta get my other device here. Bear with me one moment. Oh, also gotta tweet out the stream. Still running, right? Okay, sweet. Don't know why there's a delay. Oh, it's not that bad. But also, yeah, I'll just pause this so you guys don't get that annoyingness. Tweet this out. But also, I don't know if you guys caught my video I put up yesterday, and I just want to make a really simple point that I really think it's very evident, and you're more than welcome to disagree, that GameStop is an investment, whereas all these other stocks out there, whether it's AMC, Bed Bath & Beyond, Genius, Hellbiz, whatever name's thrown out there, I think it's important to understand that GameStop simply is not like the rest in the sense there's a lot of individuals that are invested in the company, have a long-term viewpoint, whereas I feel like all these other names, it just seems like traders and you just don't see the same passion that GameStop has. And I really think it all boils down to that in terms of the long term for GameStop. And I mean, you'll always have these other names out there, right? Like being thrown around. And I'm not saying there isn't potential for making profits. If you know how to trade, you know how to get in and out of things, go for it. I'm just saying, I think a lot of this is very dangerous where people can get stuck holding the bag. And I've definitely been there. Like I said before, like I'm just like everybody else. I've messed around with a lot of like trading and different stuff, like all up until my point in getting into GameStop and just really understanding like long-term investing and kind of having a long-term investing standpoint. Whereas like prior to GameStop, I was always kind of in and out of things. I wasn't really like invested in anything. Getting into GameStop and winding up holding it and just seeing the saga develop the way it has and just doing my research and just reading constantly, I've come to learn and understand what I believe to be important values in long term investing. Things such as insider ownership, focusing on profits, delivering shareholder value. And that insider ownership is extremely important because when your insiders own stocks, they themselves are shareholders. So delivering value is on the top of their agenda because they themselves are shareholders. It's that simple. Why would you not want to benefit thyself while benefiting others in growing the company? Whereas these days, so many different companies, especially these huge names or a lot of the mid-sized names, you kind of see like not a lot of insider ownership and big salaries, and it's like they don't really care if the company succeeds because they're still getting their paycheck. So I think it's very interesting that GameStop taught me that, and something I always look for in other companies now. And I feel like just looking at shares outstanding and insider ownership tells you so much about a stock just from when you first even look at it. Before I even like dig into any stock now, those are like some of the first two things I look at. And that's thanks to what I've learned about GameStop. And I think that's what's so incredible, honestly. Which is more influential. I mean, to be honest, guys, I love Ryan Cohen, but I think the answer is Elon Musk. But I'm curious of the results, and like I'm just gonna choose the biased answer, Ryan Cohen. But you never know. One day Ryan Cohen could be even more. But did I see like freaking CEO Adam tweet? I swear, or do I follow one of the accounts that has him like as the profile? What is this bozo saying now? We announced AMC will be testing in 3 cities. Sight line at AMC seating for evening movies. 3 zones of seats, slightly different prices per to $1 or $2. No standard charge. Value down 2. How are they gonna make money on this? Like, just read this right now. Raise prices. Sight line lets us raise prices only on our most popular seats, but we can also hold the line on standard seats and actually cut prices on value seats. Others selling tickets price their products the same way. Think sporting events, concerts, live at Broadway theaters. Yet this is a big change for movies, and we fully realize people will resist change. We will carefully monitor reaction by moviegoers during the test. Good luck, bro. That's all I have to say. Danny, appreciate you, man, if you're here. Or Danzo, you're the man. Let's see. Just got here. What up? YouTube is down. No menus and Twitter. That's weird. Danzo, thank you for being here. Options, yeah. Can't forgive him declawing his cat. Anyone knows it's removing cutting off the toes after that. I hated AMC community. I knew GME was the only one for me. Oh, so that's what you meant by declaw? I didn't really honestly know what you guys meant by declawing his cat. He literally like cut it. Oh, what? Oh, that sounds messed up. Damn, I didn't know Trey was an idiot. LOL. Why would he declaw his cat? I didn't even know what you guys meant by that, but I didn't know he literally like physically harmed the cat, as if that's what you're saying. Like, that's pretty messed up. Like, crazy. But, it's a crazy world out there with a lot of crazy things happening. That is for certain. Okay. So Matt Furlong joined the company. Forgot exactly when. Go back to that. Just go based on what I have here. Who's this? Alan. Chewy. Jim Gerber. Yeah. Just tell me about his GameStop experience. Jan 21. Rad Power Bikes. Interesting. Vacasa. And Chewy. Hilton. And Amazon. I guess I should also put like their LinkedIn as well, and I'll restructure. Format Painter. Profile. Just to kind of have everything in one place. Again, guys, literally just as I go. Just figuring it all out. I feel like it's kind of the most fun part about all this. Damn, this guy's done a lot. Michelin. Love this guy. It's funny. The Michelin tire dude. I just randomly remembered, like, made me remember something. Like, what was that game? It was like on the phone. I remember my friend got me to play it. It was so fun. It was like, guess the logo. It would give you like a logo, but like without like the name in it. And like, I don't know why the Michelin Man just reminded me of that, because one of them I answered once was like, oh, that's the Michelin Man, and that's what was the answer to the question. It was like Michelin logo. So I don't know if you guys remember what the name of that game was, but that was super fun. I don't know if anyone else out there has ever played it. I'm sure there's tons of different variations. But yeah, I think I put like a lot on him here, and all the other stuff is like older experience, and I have the LinkedIn profile here if anything. Whoa. Okay, it's good. Chewy. Oh, okay, see, that's an important line right here. right, and pull up. And ultimately, my goal with this little sheet here I'm making, guys, to kind of share with you guys in one way or another. I'm not exactly sure I'm going to do that, but just for anybody to kind of view, print out, have, like, certainly wouldn't hurt, right? Mm-mm. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a damn minute. Whoa. Whoa. Format painter for these. There we go. And we could go back and add more notes on the individuals and things like that a little bit. Let's see. Check the chat. Damn. Xbit yo. Declawing removes the last digits of the toes. They are educated when you get the procedure. Damn. That's crazy. Let's go. Ryan Song, thank you for being here. Final thoughts on Icon and BBY's potential correlation, bro? I don't know any, but I think it's completely unrelated to GME. Yeah, honestly, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen any updates about Icon recently, actually. So I'm not 100% sure what you're talking about. But I feel like at this point with Bed Bath, it's really grasping for straws, and it's hard to not think like at some point, like something we would have at least heard something by now, right? If there's truly something in the making. But I don't know, like you have to wonder, why does the stock perform like this? Like, is it all just fugazi? Is it purposely being shorted aggressively so it can make these aggressive moves? Like, there's tons of just interesting things going on out there. Adam Aaron is the most incompetent and sleazy CEO. Charging AMC customers a premium for middle seats is absurd. Mouvier, I think you're right. He's an absolute clown. Ryan Cohen is like Steve Jobs and Jesus combined. Big Luda, thank you for being here. That's a pretty funny comment. I like that. There's a timer going around today that Carl Icon is the short of the market via SPX puts and futures. Interesting. I saw that. Ooh, retracted. My bad, XBit. But no, yeah. Basically, I saw that. Right, like, what was it? Chat GPT. Somebody asked it or got it to say like, it said like, you should expect, due to the complex algorithm of the markets, that the stock market will be crashing on February 15th, or that weird post or something. So next Wednesday. That's so strange. How did Chat GPT come up with that? Like, I'm not trusting that, but it's certainly funny. And it's like, if the market does like tank that day, it'd be crazy. Like, it'd be like, how did this freaking robot know? And that would scare me even more about like Chat GPT. It'd be crazy. All right, hold on. Let's see. Just tweeted the graphics. The graphics I cooked up. Let me know if you want edits. What are the chances that RC's picks with Icon was completely useless? I think it's possible, Ryan Sung, and Rockets to the Moon. I'm going to check that out in a second. I feel like maybe he was just talking to Carl Icahn just to learn a thing or two. Because if you look at what Carl Icahn's done throughout his history, he's what's known as like an activist investor. And we see Ryan Cohen dabbling in some of these other names, such as Nordstrom, which we don't know for sure, right? These are the narratives, the stories out there. I can't be like 100% certain because there's no filings. But it seems like he has a general, like, investment philosophy where he's really going for a company he deems to be beaten down and below its true value. And if you watch like the Carl Icahn like documentary, like I watched some of it, and that's kind of what he was really known for. And he was like, people like, oh, he's a corporate raider, he's a corporate like a lot of different opinions on it. So I think it's possible he was just speaking to Carl Icahn to learn a thing or two, right? Or just also, if in some way Carl Icahn was short. Like anybody betting against the company, like even if Carl Icahn isn't involved in GameStop in any way, I think it's still like pretty concerning if you're betting against the company, seeing the chairman of GameStop speaking with a guy who's known for like being an activist for companies, or sorry, an activist investor, and coming into companies and being like, this is what we got to do. It's after the CPA Yeah, February 15th. Let's see how it goes. Hype date, believe it or not, dip. That's after the CPI report too. Gotta wonder why Iron Coast would post that picture. It's completely meaning to us in GME. Yeah, good day, folks. Silly Ape, thank you for being here. I'm gonna check this out now. Rockets to the moon. I gotta see what the professor said first. See a lot of OnlyFans girls, and to be honest, not all the same. Some smart as fuck actually using their kids to make money off Sims. The girl I'm seeing doing this, and honest pro won't question loyalty for a minute. Okay, interesting opinion there, professor. I thought it was gonna be something about GameStop. Hey, alright, made some graphics while your stream going, included a blank demo template. Dude, I appreciate it, man. Honestly, I'll use it for now, Rockets to the Moon. I can't promise I'll use it forever, but because I don't have anything else, I mean, it wouldn't hurt. So is it like a transparent background? Like I just have to kind of like save these and then put my image behind it? And thank you for doing this, like literally on the spot. I appreciate it. Can't stop, won't stop, motherfuckers. Miguel, thank you for being here. John Jar Banks, thank you for being here. Professor's been going weird lately. Ryan Sung, I think you're right. I think the professor, like that account, I've said it before, like I love its like controversiality, like just how he's just like, I'm the professor, this is what I think. Like I think he's hilarious. I think it's hilarious. A lot of the stuff he says like does turn out to be right too, but he also does say like a lot of like random stuff and like at the end of the day, like I think it's pretty funny. Like people say like see like one thing that like an individual won't like believe like you know, I won't agree with like okay, I digress. So many people out there now will go, "Oh, he said that. I don't agree with that. I could never listen to anything else that guy says or never view anything as that individual says as possibly correct." When you could just maybe fundamentally disagree on one simple thing, or you may entirely disagree on one major thing, but that doesn't account for all other things. And I think the professor's shown pretty consistently that he knows his shit in terms of GameStop. You can disagree with his opinions about the other stocks and all those different kinds of things, but I think regardless, it's a fun account to follow because it's also like how he just pulls tweets from like 2019 to roast people. Like that's just hilarious. Like come on, like that's like just prime Twitter. I don't know. I think it's a truly unique account in terms of accounts that tweet about GameStop, and that's kind of why I'm like fascinated by it, if that makes sense. But I agree, it's just some random stuff sometimes. Doesn't mean I agree with everything though. Twitter removed the transparent background, so I'm gonna DM. Appreciate that, Rockets to the Moon. Thank you very much again. Shout out to Rockets to the Moon, making me some official stuff for the channel, brick by brick here. I missed the Ryan Cohen post. Oh, and did he post something, or maybe I didn't see it? Oh, I literally have it open here, dude. Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys saw this. I'll show you guys this real quick. I painted this Saturday night. I was a little sick. I don't know if you guys can kind of still hear it. So I honestly wanted to just kind of hang out and paint. I was with my girlfriend, so I'm like, let me just paint whatever comes to my mind, which obviously was GameStop. So I'm like, let me just make this like abstract kind of thing. So this was like a fun little project. Just cause. What was it gonna look? I think on what was the last thing Ryan Cohen tweeted? I can't even remember off the top of my head. But just for the first time recently, I didn't get notifications when the last couple times he tweeted, which I thought was a little odd. I've heard of a lot of people saying it. You know you've made it when you buy a turtleneck. This is hilarious. Ryan Cohen buys all the stocks. Can't stop, won't stop. If you could ask Ryan Cohen a question, what would it be? And Silly Ape, producer graphic, agreed. Doing well, man. Keep it up. John Jar Banks, thank you. I really think I would ask him, be like, I guess I said before, like, why GameStop, but I guess that's kind of like a lame answer because also, like, you know, I think kind of know why. Like, he likes gaming and he's touched on that briefly. I would think a good question to ask would be when you bought into GameStop, did you imagine things to be the way they were at this point when you first bought in? Or, like, what were your thoughts on what the future of GameStop would be and the passion behind the brand? Did you think what was going on in January of 2021 would result in a passionate group of shareholders or just something like that? Or just if he had any expectation or any, I guess that's not a straight answer, my bad. It's not like a one straight question. So I guess the true answer to that question would be, it would be very hard to ask him one question because I don't want to ask him everything. I'd be like, Ryan, like, what's the deal, dude? Like, how did this all begin? Like, why are you so smart? Like all that different stuff. Let's go. I got this on the side. And really, rockets to the moon. Thank you for making that. I really appreciate it. Because, out here I'm just trying to do things little by little. And, like, I don't know. I haven't got around to, like, making stream overlays and stuff like that yet. So appreciate it. Thank you. Or stream graphics. Yeah, so this interview, I don't know if any of you were here for this stream when I touched on this. So it's an interview he did, but it's just about kitchens. So it's nothing like groundbreaking, but like, see, I was watching some of it, like, and he's just talking about like selling the smart kitchen and from his time at Amazon. Because at this point, that's Matt Furlong right there. That's another Amazon executive at the time, or maybe she wasn't Amazon, I forget. Maybe she was from elsewhere. But essentially, they were talking about how smart appliances were coming to the kitchen. And while there was nothing like super juicy in there from the beginning, I was able to watch just kind of the general tone of Matt Furlong, which I thought was fairly interesting, especially him as a younger individual. And I was trying to think, what would this guy be like now? Like 7 years later from the time this was posted. So this is like a very like low-key video. There's only 5 likes if you guys want to check this out. Selling the Smart Kitchen by the Spoon. But what I'm getting at here is he talks about I watched it like a couple weeks ago, but there's some like small stuff in there where you could just kind of like pick up things about the individual and just how he would potentially be running things. And now that he's in the role of CEO at GameStop, you think, oh, well, if he had that mindset 7 years ago, I wonder if, this is why they did this now and like, will they continue to do this, right? So I think this is worthy of watching to just kind of build thoughts and just overall see the kind of guy Matt Furlong is, despite the fact this has nothing to do with gaming, nothing to do with GameStop, nothing to even do with just general leadership or being an executive or anything like that. It's about freaking smart kitchens. Random, but I still feel like there's a little bit of value in this video. So much so to the point, like, I feel like I have to kind of rewatch it because I can't remember exactly what I noticed. But I remember, like, looking at, you like watch a video, like, oh, like, there's some, like, interesting stuff in there. And then it gives you some other thoughts. And, like, maybe you write, like, for me, like, I'll write it down or I'll be like, oh, whatever. And, like, I just start going in these different directions. So I feel like I remember something being in there that brought me to some different ideas, if that makes sense. But I can't remember what exactly those said things were. But regardless, you can get an idea of who Matt is from this interview if you're curious. So I am also going to drop this link in here. We'll do like a misc. Ooh. Miscellaneous. All right. Let's keep going here. Check chat. I really want to see the latest DRS numbers, but in general, is retail tapped out of funds or is holding GME at this point? We're at 51% DRS of the float. So that's a great question. I am also very curious of the DRS count. I feel like with GameStop, it's just individuals, and it's hard to say for sure, right? Because every individual is, as I always say, an individual. It's not like that's why I very much so stay away from the word community, because I feel like it's all individuals making their own decisions who just so happen to like the same thing. And that's why when someone else is like invested in Bed Bath or trading Bed Bath, well, I may not agree with investing in Bed Bath, and I don't think I'm capable of trading Bed Bath, or it's not something I'm wanting to do right now. I'm not going to say like, oh, because that person likes Bed Bath, it means they're like a complete idiot. It just means I like disagree on that one aspect, and ultimately we both still like GameStop, so we can have a conversation or build some thoughts on GameStop. And you could try and give me some of your thoughts about Bed Bath or some different things. It might not be exactly my wheelhouse, just because also like I'm not reading about it as much, but again, that's just because like it's what I'm comfortable with as an individual. So I feel like part of the narratives too, right, that get kind of thrown around out there to get people's emotions going or to just people to point fingers at each other. But again, I don't like to use the word community, but generally of individuals that like the same stock, it becomes kind of like a community. And then when you have a community type of vibe and you're betting against the company, it would make sense to kind of infiltrate it and have people like pointing fingers at each other. But just kind of my opinions there. Ray Trading has tweeted some stuff lately. Seems like good news. Not sure how it relates to GameStop, but seems positive. Xbit is DRS number a guess until the quarterly reports come out because people put into book. Danzo, I think the DRS count he's referencing is from like the DRS bot. There's kind of like an estimate. So we've seen it's not always spot on, but I think it's, fairly accurate, and it kind of gives us a general idea of individuals buying and holding. And now we're in an interesting time period where the stock hasn't been, at its low for like well over a month now. So has DRSing slowed down? I mean, I know I myself, I've only bought like a couple shares, I think, since January started. Like literally, like probably can count on one hand. Because for me, I was buying heavy on the way down because that's just personally what I want to do. Now I'm at a point I'm okay. I'm going to step back a little. I'm going to do a little bit more saving. So if there's another opportunity to buy more at another heavy discount, I'll absolutely do that. Or I may continue saving and reach a point where I'm like, well, I still believe the company is undervalued. I have a bunch of money saved here, put money into X, Y, and Z. Now I have a little bit extra left over. Okay, maybe I'm going to put into GameStop. And I think these are really important thought processes to have for yourself as an individual. Because at the end of the day, whoever's looking out for you the most is you. It's just straight facts. It's not your mother, your father, your son, your daughter, your wife, your husband. It's you. You have to look out for you the most. It's that simple. And I feel like I'm really just realizing that over time. And I feel like don't get me wrong, I have people around me that I absolutely love, and I feel like that love me and like just support me so much, and I'm so grateful for them. But my point is, I have to make myself the best I can be. I have to take care of myself, do my own due diligence, all for me. And it doesn't mean I don't have like support around me, or like nobody wants to help me or anything like that, or nobody cares about me. But nobody cares about you as much as you, if that makes sense. And I just really feel like that's important to apply to investing and just life in general. So, life advice from Tetron, no financial advice. Any predictions to whether they'll screw our DRS numbers again? Would the same trick work twice? I think it's possible, Ryan Sung, but we would have to see a big jump before we could see any kind of foolery like that again. So that'd be definitely something interesting to look out for. And my bad, Danzo, I realized I didn't kind of cover what you said about what's his name, Larry Chang. So yeah, I saw his tweets the other day. I saw he was tweeting that CNBC came in. They were doing some kind of interview. Okay, tweeted again today. I used to think the best way to assess product market fit was to talk to customers, but I'm not so sure anymore. Talking to customers establishes product customer fit, not necessarily product market fit. In reality, the market has a lot more non-customers than customers. Okay, I need to take a step back and digest that. There's a lot of confusing language there, or just a lot of customers, not customers. I used to think the best way to assess product market fit was to talk to customers. I'm not so sure anymore. Talking to customers establishes product customer fit, not necessarily product market fit. In reality, the market has a lot more non-customers than customers. Okay, I see what he's saying there. See, sometimes you have to reread things a couple times. I feel like a lot of times too, not to be like preaching from the choir here, but I feel like we live in a world now too. People like read something, oh, I don't understand it. Oh, this is just out of my wheelhouse, right? Like think about how many people, when you bring up like GameStop or just stocks or what I do, so many times people just say, oh, I don't know about that, or oh, I don't do investing, or oh, it's too much for me to understand. And I'm like, bro, I'm literally just a regular dude, and I figured this out. Like, I'm not saying like people think I'm saying like, oh, invest all your money in game. I'm like, what I preach investing for to people is that you should focus on growing your wealth in the long term, and just simply saving your money is not going to cut it. And I feel like so many people don't even know that you can get a high yield savings account right now, which again, not going to be like groundbreaking money, but it's still something. And I just feel like a lot of people won't even do a high yield savings or just invest in general S&P 500 in the long term and just building their wealth, right, and putting their capital to work, because people say, oh, yeah, I don't know investing, or oh, investing's not for me, right? Like they just dismiss. And where I'm going with that is I feel like a lot of people will read this and go, oh, I can't understand. There's too many big words here, too much. When in reality, all I do is read this thing a couple times and I understand what he's saying here. And again, I'm just literally looking at the first tweet. And sorry if I'm like harping on like the small point of a small tweet, but I think it's interesting that he's saying it's important to look at the product you're creating and the customers that don't buy it. Why are they not buying it? And why is he saying that now? That's a great question. Because he thought according to this tweet, that it's best to look at who's buying the product and why they're buying it. But he's saying, hey, maybe now it's important to look at also why are those that are not buying it choosing not to. And I think the analytics you'd kind of look at that are, for example, somebody adding an item to their cart but never following through with the checkout. You'd maybe see the kind of items, the kind of time they spent on the website. Like, when you accept cookies, that gives companies access to all that kinds of data so they can hopefully make smarter business decisions over the long term. Therefore, I find talking to non-customers about a product can be more accurate assessment of product market fit than talking to customers. If I find it hard to sell a product, why am I so sure the market wants to buy it? Talking to customers is still extremely valuable for understanding satisfaction, specific value prop and pain points, buying process, price sensitivity, retention, upsell dynamics. Those of you that don't know what upsell is, that means like when you're about to check out, right? Let's say you're about to buy an item and it needs batteries to operate. An upsell would be like, hey, did you need some batteries? Click here to add batteries to your cart. So that's another thing I think GameStop can continue to do is upsell opportunities. And that's just like a really simple random example. For understanding satisfaction, specific value prop pain points, buying process. I already read this. I lean more on non-customer than customer feedback because that can be more representative of the market. Interesting. All right, that's a tweet worth retweeting. CMC took over the Volition office, 3-hour interview. Fun time, nice people, lost track of time. Definitely curious what they talk about. Filming a piece to be aired down the road. Also an interesting tidpoint there. Like, why is it down the road? What's happening down the road, right? Then Volition's fund. Saw that as well. I like how Larry Chang is very wise. Like, he won't tweet for a while, then out of nowhere, just random tweet. And then, like, yeah, he's like, I'm going to hop off for like 4 months and then come back and be like, surprise, we're launching a fund. So, like, cool. It seems like an interesting guy. Let's see. Do you think they will raise GME earnings estimates to make the quarterly results look bad? I think it's possible, Jackson's. Honestly, I barely ever look at the estimates in terms of GameStop with analysts because I just feel like they're just simply not going to predict accurately. And like whatever they're predicting, like doesn't even matter because the company's not issuing guidance. So I feel like there's really not something solid to compare whatever analysts are coming up with than just previous earnings reports of GameStop. My comments aren't going through. I'll use Discord. That's so weird, Dickspit. I'm a huge fan of Cosmic Lightning Warrior, but some of his conspiracy theories are ludicrous. Like he's one of those guys in which someone can provide clarity, but he'll still find a way to refute it. I watch Lightning here and there. I don't agree with everything he says, but I think he's a cool guy. And just, I like how he just has his own thing, his own style. I think that's kind of a unique part about like the different, I guess you could say, like YouTube guys. And like just to be considered like a GameStop YouTube guy is like kind of honorary, honestly. Like it's feels good, but also like I'm just an individual. Everyone's out here doing their own decision. But I think, Lightning's kind of a chill dude. And he's got that, like, woo, type of, like, vibe to him. Morantz has got that, like, hardcore, I'm going to hit you with the facts. I'm going to provide the details, this and that. And then Lightning's more, like, got a little bit of the hype and just kind of reading and different things out there. And then you have Richard Newton, who's very intelligent himself, just going through different aspects of GameStop and just kind of like a big picture look. And then you have me, who's just out here doing my thing, right? So it's kind of fun that there's like different like variety of like GameStop guys, if that kind of makes sense, in my opinion at least. He's one wise motherfucker. What kind of conspiracies? You don't even want to know. LOL, I do want to know. Let's hear it. If you want to share, you can. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Listen, yeah, I try not to get too into conspiracies because also, like, for my own head, I feel like there's just so much noise out there. Just if you just start to believe something, it's better just not even like. I'm kind of realizing just don't even try and believe what is true and what is not. Just like control what you can control in your life. And like I'm saying this right now to look back on this clip and be like, Noah, you said you're going to focus on just controlling what you can control because it's so easy to get caught up in noise. And I feel like my most unproductive days are days I get caught up in like just reading about craziness. And I'm like, oh my God, this chat GPT thing, right? Like I've been reading about that a lot lately and it scares the crap out of me, guys. The AI scares the crap out of me sometimes. And I'm reading deep into that. And then I'm all of a sudden like, damn, I'm wasting all this time reading into this. And like, yes, I'm becoming educated on it, but like, one, I'm scaring the crap out of myself, and two, like it's putting me in like a negative like mindset of what the future is, and just I feel like it's not healthy. Like I feel like good mental health habits are really important, and that's as simple as like kind of controlling what you take in. And again, I'm saying this all so I can watch this back and hold myself accountable right now. So glad you brought that up randomly. We're all just individualizing, baby. That's right, Crown King. Thank you for being here. They're all YouTube GME promoters, all friends, just different styles. Just watch some of his streams, FYI. They have nothing to do with GME. Yeah, honestly, I've only really watched Lightning stuff in terms of GameStop. Anything else he kind of has out there, like, honestly, I haven't really watched too much. So, and then also I want to check what XBit said to me in Disc. I'm gonna have Discord open. We got here. This was Nathan, chill dude. Stonko Tracker, thank you. I just got a virus from that XBit. I'd be like, no, I'm just kidding. Yes, this is nice. The borrow fees. Calls, is the put to call ratio still below 1? I haven't checked that. I wonder if that's on here. What do we got in terms of options? Thoughts on the new ChatGPT? Thoughts on the new Microsoft Bing tool? Search tool. I didn't mean to send it to you. I was trying to send it to Denzel. My bad. Oh, you're good, XBit. No worries. You're chilling. No worries. Yeah, why not go through this? I mean, there's always some interesting stuff here, right? But the new Bing search tool, I think it's kind of crazy that it's that much of a threat that it sent Google down today. I know also they did some demo of like what's supposed to compete with it, but that's pretty crazy. Google down 7%, essentially on fears that there's actually going to be competition for Google now. Like I remember the memes that were like, oh, Google is, the only reason Bing was created was to search Google, to type in Google. But now it's like this Bing thing, right? Like Bing search engine, you need to sign up for early access. I was actually looking at it with my coworker today. Um, the the new Bing, right? You have to like sign up for the wait list. But my thoughts on it, it's scary. It's fucking scary, guys. I mean, this is a very, very smart thing. And I just think if it's this smart now, Google only came out 20 years ago, right? And Bing and search engines only really were established like maybe 25 years ago. It's all that started rolling out. The internet is still relatively new in the grand scheme of things. What does another 20 or 25 years from now look like in terms of what a search engine is? It scares the crap out of me, guys. It really does. And it seems like we're at kind of now the point of no return. Like this AI stuff is going to be in our lives. It's going to take jobs away. We've already seen it with like BuzzFeed. I don't know if you guys saw that. BuzzFeed, Chat GPT. They're like, why would we even pay people to just when we can just use this thing to write like our robotic style articles already? Like cheating with Chat GPT. Like it's crazy. Oh, I don't know. No copyrights. Oh, back to selling the smart thing. Oh. But again, I think this is worth checking out, guys, just to kind of get an idea of the kind of dude Matt Furlong is. Okay. Back to business. It's gonna change education a lot for sure. That's true, Ryan Sung. What do you think about Intel? Do you still using it over Google? Honestly, I don't think so, Ryan, because I was actually talking to another coworker today, and he brought up a good point. He's like, I'm still gonna use Google, and then if I want to like get a sophisticated answer, I'm just gonna go to Chat GPT. Why would I go to Bing? And so like I feel like I'm kind of the same, where it's like I'm just naturally gonna go to Google, but I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll kind of see over time how accessible it is, what it looks like, all those kinds of things. But it's a crazy world out there. It's hard not to be alarmed by this, in my opinion. Like it's just
or not like alarmed, but what I think is like what I've been saying to my brother too is I'm like, yo, we got to find a way to make some money on this. How can we utilize this to like better what we're doing and just creating content or like the thing is like I'm not gonna like I could tell it right. Write me a tweet thread about historicals of the stock bar. I could tell it to write me like a bunch of crap, but like I want to keep my stuff genuine too. So like I'm like, how can I harness this power or this like technology, but also like create like genuine stuff. You know, like I don't want to just be a robot. You know, I'm not Tetron bot. Like I don't know. I don't know. So many different thoughts on it. They're selling AI friends for simps. LOL. What do I think about Intel? I'm not like let's see what's going on with Intel. I heard they're struggling like in terms of their chips. Just because like Apple now is like pretty much does everything internally. Oh, goodbye to Rocket Lake supercomputers now. Catastrophic mistake. Samsung gonna take them over. Interesting. Oh, Intel. Integrated Electronics. Oh, I feel stupid. I didn't know that's what that stood for. I thought it was just a random name, or I thought it was like someone's last name or something, honestly. But yeah, pretty bizarre. You know, it's bizarre, like looking at a stock like this and then like seeing like the like imagine buying this stock in 2017 and like just right now, like it would be the most frustrating thing in the world to hold an investment like 6 years and it's worth less, right? So I don't think GameStop will come to that. I know there's definitely, a frustrating aspect of it where you're like, well, bro, like, is this thing gonna rip or what? Like, I know definitely everyone thinks that here and there, right? But I think it's just one when you have good management team and a company that's just building something that you believe in, then it's easy to just be like, you know what? I'm having these thoughts right now, but whatever. I like what the company's doing. I'm sticking with the long term. And then when you have that thought, you're like, all right, dismiss that noise, that noisy thought. Got a good pillow. Support the back. Do you invest in other stocks besides GME? That's a great question. So right now, I do not. I still own a little bit of a few other stocks that I've held from the past, kind of prior to the GameStop saga. But over time, just learning what I've learned about GameStop and just the structure of the market as a whole, I mostly feel comfortable with all my money in GameStop. And over time, I also sold out of a lot of different stocks I used to kind of mess around with. And now I've put it this way: if you got rid of everything else I owned in every other stock and every other crypto, I wouldn't even care as long as I have my GameStop shares because it's that significant of what I hold in the grand scheme. But what I do through my job with my 401k, I put a percentage into my percentage of my paycheck into my 401k, and I go 100% S&P 500. Nice and simple. Let my company match it over time, and just something to slowly contribute to on the side. But in terms of individual stocks, as of late, I swear I've only bought GameStop. That's all I'm interested in it. And one, it's because of just the unique aspects of the saga, and two, just the liquidity in the market, like the way the dollar's just been printed, and the structure of the markets, the fact that every share in a brokerage is the name of Seed and Co. It makes it very difficult to own any other stock, in my opinion. Now, it just like changed my perspective on stock markets as a whole very, very much. And I think in the future, when I do like eventually own other stocks. I don't think I'll never own another individual stock again. I mean, can't say anything for sure, right? I'm definitely just keep seeing things in the long term. But when I look for individual stocks, kind of the thing I was talking about before, where I look for shareholder value, and I'll show you a great example of it right now, where I look for a company with strong insider ownership, um, compensation in the form of shares. Basically, now what I'm going to look for in the future is companies that have the same mentality that Ryan Cohen has and the board of directors for GameStop has of aligned interests of shareholders and executives because executives are shareholders. And I showed this on another stream, but you see all these narratives now. Oh, the fight back against the short sellers and Ryan Cohen isn't doing enough. They're just going to keep kicking the can down the road, blah, 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 right? So look at this stock here. Dillard's. Look at its 5-year move. Look at its all-time move, right? It's just got catastrophic. What has happened? This company's been around forever, since 1984. What the fuck is Dillard's even, right? Like, that's what we might be even wondering. And why has it made this move since pretty much January, right? It's January of 2021. I want you to keep this in mind. At this point, I saw an old screenshot of when short interest was shown on the Bloomberg terminal, 144% for GameStop at this said point in time right here, right? I'm showing on the chart. About $87 Dillard's was. The next most shorted stock on that list was Dillard's at 90% of the float reported at that time. And I thought, that's interesting. And there's a list of a bunch of other stocks also heavily shorted, names like Bed Bath and some other retail names. But if you look at almost all of them, they've diluted heavy and continue to struggle, such as Bed Bath, besides GameStop, which individuals just like the stock, and then this company, Dillard's. I said, what is Dillard's? Like, what is going on here? And I've found some really interesting stuff. And I apologize if you guys already saw this the other day, like on the stream, but I think it's just really, really great example. And like, I'm surprised it hasn't been brought up by other people more often. Dillard's operates retail department stores in southeastern, southwestern, and mideastern areas of the United States. Merchandise, including fashion apparel for women, men and children. So basically, it's like a higher end, like just kind of like miscellaneous item and clothing retailer. So like nothing that like groundbreaking, right? But and the company, remember, has been public since 1984, and it's just like retail. So like, how did the stock go up so much all of a sudden? Like, look, nothing that groundbreaking. But look at all the names: Dillard, 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 Dillard. It's family run. Most of the employees and people at the top of the chain are insiders. Look at this fat insider interest. Huge amounts of insider ownership because, as far as I'm aware, see, fairly strong balance sheet, not the most amazing, but strong cash flows, strong profits, right? So their bottom line is net profitable. And what they've been doing over time is returning value to shareholders, where you look at dividend history. And I truly think this is how GameStop can fight back against shorts in the long term, by just delivering value to shareholders. And it makes sense for the board of directors and executives to focus on that when they're being compensated in shares. So look at how much stock they've bought back. Like over time, they just consistently bought back for like the past decade. And then look, since January 2021, they've said, okay, we're going to be heavily shorted. And I think even in here, they're probably heavily shorted. And that's probably why. This probably seems like the kind of stock that's probably been shorted for quite a while. So they probably thought, all right, let me just go ahead and just keep buying back stock because we're getting the cash. Let's utilize it to deliver value to shareholders. One way to do that is buying back stock. I'll show you another way to do it. Dividend. Look at their dividend history. Anybody that shorts a stock is responsible for paying the dividend, right? They've begin to raise their dividend over time. This year, F's in the chat, F's in the chat. Too much DD price the algo. I think we're back here. Okay, yeah, we're chilling. But what I was going to show you guys is I was showing the dividends and just value there because you know what I was saying. I don't know if it cut off, but you can defer taxes by having less reportable income if you're paying out dividends. So now you're returning value to shareholders and you're paying less taxes for the company as a whole. And you might think, oh, they're avoiding taxes, this and that. It's like, no, they're providing value to shareholders. And this is like them utilizing the tax system to the benefit of the individuals running the company and investing and believing in the company. And I really feel like these are the kind of things Ryan Cohen's looking at. And what I'm showing you here now is their revenue. Look at their revenue since 2021. Obviously, this is the pandemic era, which caused this dip. But look at their revenue over the past decade. Nothing groundbreaking. There's never been any like massive growth or anything like that. But what they've always been able to do is maintain positive net income, right? And then when they did have negative net income, it was for a short while, and they made sure, despite massive revenue falling off, that they were cutting costs to make it very minimal losses being reported. And again, this is at like a truly unique time where just out of nowhere, everything closed, you know? And look at what their earnings per share is. Like their earnings per share, they've been massively doing well like over these past few years. So they're really focused in my eyes on delivering value to shareholders. And again, I'm not here to provide financial advice at any point in time. I'm only sharing personal thoughts and opinions. But what I'm sharing with you today in terms of Dillard's is just, I think, a great comparison in terms of A company that can deliver the value, that has delivered value to shareholders without even growing its revenue or doing anything that dramatic, by simply focusing on running the company and delivering value to shareholders in the long term. And I think if GameStop has underlying short interest, right, you could just look at the public short interest alone. And that will be extremely painful for those betting against the company shorting the stock when value is being delivered in the form of dividends, share buybacks, all those kinds of things. Like, delivering value to shareholders is what truly burns the shorts or fights back against the shorts, in my opinion. Intel looks cheap, but how's the future outlook? Going back in the chat, yeah, don't know too much about Intel. Already kind of touched on that. Wish we could go back in time to buy GME at $1. Me too, Danzo. Me too. I hold GME and Apple. Nice. It's pretty fascinating. Oh no, rip. That's from the algo. DD fries the algo. It's back. We here. I saw Martin Shkreli break down the Intel financial statement. Future is not bright for Intel unless they make a big change. Costco cause. Thank you, Super Blank. Yeah, I think Costco, it delivers a lot of value to shareholders. That's another great example of that, actually, come to think of it. I haven't looked at any of their stuff in a while. I know they've long been operated really well, or been known for operating really well. So they don't have that like large insider ownership. Certainly have a strong balance sheet. They certainly have net profits. And I bet if I pull up their shares outstanding, goes down over time. Huh, goes up a little over time. Interesting. But it's loyalty to the brand and a little bit of a different scenario. But I still think Costco's delivered a little bit of value to shareholders. But honestly, I don't know that much about Costco. Super blank. They're losing market share to AMD and Nvidia, basically. Yeah, it does seem to be the case. And I think, from what I understand, like Apple used to like utilize Intel chips in some way in their computers. But as of late, they just have been doing their own thing, because they all want to be like in-house. They want to make everything in the brand of Apple. And in terms of shares outstanding, just a random thing I want to point out to you guys. I don't know if any of you guys mess with like Mara or Riot. I used to mess with them in terms of like playing Bitcoin, but I just really don't think you should touch those stocks for the long term. You're more than welcome to disagree and always do your own due diligence. Never just blindly listen to me or any individual on the internet. But I think it's important to note that these stocks are for the purpose of mining Bitcoin. And look how many shares they've issued throughout the past like 2 years. Right? Look at this massive issuance of shares. And this is Mara. If you go to Riot, it's unfortunately the same case. So just heavy dilution there from when the stocks were first going public. Excuse me. So I think it's just important to note that. And if you are investing in cryptocurrency, I think the best bet is to just buy the coins themselves that you believe in and hold them in a cold storage wallet, not in a hot wallet such as Coinbase or any of these other exchanges. Because as we've seen with FTX, everybody in the world thought FTX was legit, right? Tom Brady's behind it. Every big name person you could think of, right, seemed to be an FTX sponsor, which is just so bizarre in hindsight. And I think that just shows like can any crypto exchange truly be trusted? So I really feel like cold storage is the way. But if you're doing a trade, I guess you can mess with these. But just a random thing that popped in my mind. How bearish are you in real estate for the next year? It's a good question, Ryan Sung. I don't know too much about real estate, but from what I understand, it seems like it probably has to get better before it gets worse. Just because, like, the nature of inflation and just interest rates, it makes it difficult to buy a house. But for me, personally, like, obviously I don't want anybody to get hurt, but like the housing market, like having difficulties is kind of good for me, I guess, happening. Like, I'm not like in any way in a position to buy a house in the near future, but just thinking about like eventually buying something in the future, like maybe not a house, but like, I don't know. I always thought about, I don't know if you guys know what house hacking is, where if you like, essentially you move out, you buy a house that can basically have two to four tenants, and you yourself will be one of them. So you're a resident there, and you'll rent out like for example, if it's like just a regular house with like an upstairs, like one of those type of things, I could do that. I could live there and start renting out the upstairs, and then maybe I could add on and then rent out a different other part of it. So I always thought about kind of doing that. But I don't know too much about real estate, so I don't exactly know. But I think it probably will get better. Probably have to get worse before it gets better. Just because also everything was so good for so long, and I just feel like it just simply just does not last, unfortunately. Bar and Riot are so 2020. It's so true, X-Bit. I used to have, it's crazy. I had a Riot, like, because you remember I used to, like, mess around with, like, a lot of different stuff way before GameStop and way before, like, Bitcoin had its rally, post, like, pandemic and everything. It started rallying. I had like such a cheap call. I had like a $1 call on Riot that I had bought for like $100, and I sold it for 200. And I thought, oh, I'm the shit, bro. I trade options, you know. And then over time, I just watched like Riot just going up and up and up, and I was like, bruh. But also, that's why I don't do options now, because I feel like I've just learned a lot. Because one, I wouldn't have like I looked at it going up and up, and I thought, oh, I could have made so much, but I would have sold early regardless. Maybe if I didn't sell that soon, I still would have sold fairly early. And on top of it, I probably would, it would just be like I wouldn't have actually made money. I don't think it would have actually worked out, unfortunately. That's kind of the reality of it. But kind of get back to what I was doing originally over here. If you could be short one stock, what would it be? Honestly, I think AMC. They just dilute the crap out of their shareholders. Um, and Adam Aaron is just seems like he's kind of running the company into the ground. I mean, I'm sure there's better options out there, but I mean, just in terms of like what I'm familiar with, I feel like just naturally I hear about what's going on with AMC just because of the nature of it and how they're the same play, right? So I feel like for me it'd be AMC. That's just me. Um. All right, yeah. Let's get back to the just main activities here. So yeah, we'll put a Matt Furlong did in here. Career experience. Excuse me. Expansion. Again, we could fix all the formatting more so later. International expansion. Whoa. Bruh, I don't want a formula. Okay. International expansion. You know what? We'll just pull what I have here. Then we'll reformat it later. Because I kind of like what I wrote here. And I'll just figure out how I want to reword it more so. Um, okay. Career experience. Procter and Gamble. Amazon. Let's see. Pull up his LinkedIn. Of course, Google wants to track me. Not even much on his page here, but I'll just throw the link there just to have it. You're joining the company, 2021, but let's see exactly. Or, you know, it's probably easier place to go, guys. GameStop. Investor relations. It's the golden source. Excuse me. Keep you on. Corporate governance. There we go. I'll put the link to this. I feel like this is kind of important. Just GameStop investors relations link. June 2021. What did Ryan Cohn buy? It was... Bruh. Why? I don't want accounting format. General. What the heck? June 2020. June 21. Thank you. Okay, fine. It'll be that way. December 2020. Career experience. Just put Chewy. I was gonna put like established Chewy or created Chewy, but again, I don't think I need to put that much on Ryan Cohen. I think everybody kind of knows a lot about him. Maybe even two, if I found a nice way to format this in, I could do that eventually. But I suppose it's not necessarily necessary, if that makes sense. Larry Chang. Whoa. Evolution Capital. And something I'm kind of thinking is, like as like a follow-up with this, is like we can kind of look into some of these different companies and what these individuals did in their time there. Like maybe we could take like a deep dive, find something interesting. Let's put Volition Capital for now. I believe he was also brought on. Where is this? Larry Chain. LinkedIn. It's called First Red Day, when a pump is over and you are back on the side of a move. Puts, but not with high V. Good evening, Tetron. Do you think market makers have created synthetic shares in any stock beyond what is needed to keep the market liquid? Not asking for fact here, just an opinion. Chad, you know how I roll. Thoughts and opinions only. I think market makers have the role of, making the market. So, and the rules allow it too. So I think in their eyes, if, it's not so much necessarily that it's like, oh, let's just create random shares and put it out there. I view it as it's like, well, there's a lot of options and a lot of swaps, and we have to just make sure like, and there's like every single day, right? Like tons of different things going on behind the scenes in the financial markets. They have to just make sure there's like, yeah, well, those shares are allocated there. Yeah, those shares are located there. But it's like, it might be like just the same group of shares that are the locates for said positions, right? Whether it's like an option contract, it's a borrowed stock for a short interest, like for a short play, like somebody shorting the stock, somebody borrowing it. I feel like the big problem is like how things are reported and the just overall power the market makers have, in the sense that if necessary, it's like, okay, well, this is only to make the market, it's just to make the market. So it's all gonna, equal the proper amount of shares at the end of the day. But it's like, is it really? So I think it's definitely possible this is happening with other names out there. But I feel like what kind of started everything with January of 2021 with GameStop was, it was just for like a consistent long period of time. The short interest was reported over 100%. And it's like, wait a minute, how is that like that for such a long time? That means it's not like, oh, like, just the end of the day, or, oh, it's just there's a locate here or there. It was like, everything's all located here, 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 here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that was the best explanation, but that's kind of like my thought process on that. Anthony G, thank you for being here. Valid opinion, I roll. But also, I'm gonna hit you guys with an unboxing right now. Let's do a mid-stream unboxing. I tweeted this, but I'm going to do this very soon. Hold on. Don't even have a box cutter here, so we're going straight bare hands, ripping this thing open. Oof. Check it out, guys. Live unboxing on Tetron Live. I mean, it literally has nothing to do with GameStop. I didn't buy it from GameStop, unfortunately, because they don't sell this. But this is something... Oh, shit. This is something I wanted to do for a little bit, and I'm going to use it to make content. So, hold on, guys. I'm literally just tearing it open with my bare fucking hands. I'm an animal. I'm a menace to society. Alright, the unboxing. First time I'm seeing it. Here we are, the official hot ones. I'm gonna do the challenge, and you might be thinking, "Yo, why would you buy all that?" I just really always wanted to do this. I love to show hot ones. I think it's just awesome, and I'm gonna get somebody to either interview me, or I don't know exactly how to do it. Maybe I'll even make a few different videos. But stay tuned, guys. Hot ones Tetron edition is coming. So got the insider look here. Got a little personalized message. Let's see what this says. Oh, it's like the Hot Ones Season 19 lineup. Gives me all the details. So this is pretty cool. Oh, we got a nice sticker. Pretty dope, pretty dope. Can never go wrong with a nice sticker. Got another one here. Oh, I guess this is for like the winner. But I'm going to do a GME interview with or someone will interview me with the hot sauces. We got the bomb here in the middle. I'm just trying to straighten them so you guys can see them all real quick. Some funky names, I mean. I assume they're in order. Just a classic hot sauce and like, check it out, check it out. Wait. Ooh. I gotta get nice with my OBS. All webcam. Oh. Big webcam. Ah. There we are. Ooh. I'm gonna break something again, guys. Check it out. Hot ones. We out here. Thoughts on Professor saying we need dilution in a few quarters? That's a good question, Ryan Song. I actually did catch that today. So I don't know. I don't know why exactly he would say that. Or, well, I did read the tweet, right? Like, I get where he was coming from. He's saying, like, in just bad economic conditions, like, generally, like, everything, like, as a whole is, like, looking bad, where just a lot of companies need to raise money, high interest rates, like, all those sorts of things. I see what he meant, but I don't really think that's something the company wants to do. Because ideally, they don't want to take debt on either, right? But I would rather the company take on a little bit of debt than and just keep a strong balance sheet than necessarily issue shares. I don't really think that's coming anytime soon, and I don't know where exactly he gets that 3/4. And I think there's so many X factors. It's really hard to say that. And what I boil it down to is Ryan Cohen and the rest of the board members that you see listed here and executives are running the show. And they're all being compensated in shares and holding their shares, and they're not selling, because unlike AMC insiders, right? They're selling their ape before this reverse merger because they know what's going to happen. I think that's just a great sign that it's, no matter what's happening or how things change over time, the interest of these individuals, and I feel like I'm like kind of beating a dead horse with saying this now, but I feel like it's really important to hammer home, where the interest of these individuals is aligned with my own interest in my eyes, because they themselves are shareholders. So I don't really think they're going to dilute unless we absolutely need to, and I don't really see that happening. That's the bottom line. Echo. Oh no, what? Echoes. Must have hit something. Hold on. Oh, okay, I know what I did. Is it better now? See, I'm learning, guys, as you can see, with all these like scenes on the side. Someone let me know if it's better. Someone let me know in chat. I think we're good, or I'll just do my own volume. Someone let me know if it's better. Someone let me know in chat. All right, I just let myself know. There we go. Much better. Thank you, XFit. Freshmaker, thank you for being here. Thank you. Put Larry Chang's LinkedIn. Does he have GameStop on here? I can't remember exactly. I'm pretty sure it was January of 2021, though, like everybody else. Oh, what's going on, Excel? Okay. Yang. Kraft Heinz, okay. Whirlpool. General Electric. Those of you that are not familiar with Whirlpool, that's like washing machines and like high-tech kitchen stuff, some stuff like that. washers, dryers, all that kinds of stuff. Finance. Okay. Put for notes. Whoa. I don't want to put. Oh my goodness. Experience in capital markets, financial transaction, business operations, in general business operations. That's the dumbest. I think there's no notes to put on Yang right now. I have to take a deeper look. But let's actually try and find a little more on Yang. I feel like this is of the board of directors members. I feel like Yang is the one I know the least about. Got the LinkedIn. Oh, that's not it. And something I also should look at eventually, or kind of something we can dig into in a future stream or something, is the individuals that these individuals used to work with, right? Like maybe they had some ties or some past experience. It can kind of give us some like insight as to where things are heading. That would be interesting. Market Watch is gonna be garbage, but let me see. Oh, okay, look at that for Whirlpool. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, some interesting stuff right here. Click on Yahoo Finance trash. I hate giving these article clicks, but like these articles clicks, but sometimes I like to go back and just kind of see and read like just things going on. Just see. Independent director at GameStop, senior VP and global head corporate development at Kraft Heinz. She's on the board of director at GameStop. Garbage. That's all you had. I thought there was more. It's very cool. You ever notice anything different about my quant? His name is Yang. It's funny. That's my quant. That's my quant. Yang was a senior director, corporate treasury and risk management USA for Whirlpool. Joined Berkshire Hathaway in 2018. Very interesting, the Berkshire tie. I find that to be certainly interesting. But also this is theofficialboard.com. I hate to say it, but it doesn't seem all that official. And yeah. And I'm out here clicking a nice suspicious link. See, I wonder how up to date it is for GameStop. That's interesting. This is an interesting website, though. The official board. Okay. Oh, excuse me, yawning so much. Interesting. Can you print or download? You gotta like pay for something. This is a little interesting website here. Let's see if I at least get the names. Oh, okay, they do it on purpose, so you can't. I see. Alright, so it's not really a good website. That's unfortunate. Now it's following. Is nominating the following 6 individuals to stand for his board of directors. Alan Adel, Larry Chang, Ryan Cohen, Jim Grube, George Sherman, and Yang Zhu. Or Yang Zhu, yeah. What was I going to say? George Sherman. So he was elected to the board, really, because he's not on the board anymore. think the one not listed here is it Matt. Yeah, Matt Furlong. He's CEO as well as a board member. Um, so interesting. I guess at that point, Furlong hadn't joined the company. It was still George Sherman. But as far as I understand, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, George Sherman still owns like a pretty significant amount of GameStop shares. Ah, would you look at that? He's retired. Yeah, so after GameStop, he retired. Retired CEO GameStop. See, I know they had decided to part ways, everything with the digital transformation. But see, he had a lot of retail experience prior to. And of all the people at GameStop, prior to Ryan Cohen coming in and kind of just retaking over like wiping out the board, just bringing in new executives, this guy seemed like he probably actually wanted the best for the company, considering he's still holding his shares to this day. And he actually, like, if you look at insider activity, he actually bought shares before Ryan Cohen in 2020. He bought them like, I think like June of 2020 or something like that. So almost 3 years ago, which is kind of crazy. And at that point, they were down to like literally like $5, like pre-stock split dividend. So like adjusted basis now, like literally like $1 and change, which is just crazy to think about. And like I'm pretty sure he's just held since. Like if you just look at insider activity, but technically he's not an insider anymore, so I don't know how that would report if he were to sell shares. But as far as I'm aware, he's still coming up like in the insider activity, which I think is kind of interesting. Excuse me. Cannot stop yawning. See direct acquisition. See $0 price because it's compensation. Oh, see, it doesn't even go back that far. Damn. But if you look at GameStop insider ownership on like Fintel or like whatever site just comes up, it still shows George Sherman. See, like insider roster and profitability metrics. If you look at share zone, split adjusted, right? Some of the insiders. But is he still there even? Is Frank Hamlin? Chief customer, was he on? I'd have to double check that. But where is he? Yeah, look, George Sherman. Look how many shares adjusted. Like, see, like his only holdings are in Advanced Auto Parts and GameStop. So, like, why would he still hold GameStop all this time later, right? Like, you gotta wonder. Ah, here we are. Insider purchases. Buys 25,000 shares at $4.51. That's, yeah, adjusted price after the stock down and split. 112.91. So like literally $1.13 he bought shares at, which is crazy. And his returns, you see, if like he were to sell right now, or I guess like at its peak, those are like the theoretical numbers. But it's interesting because like if you look at his insider trading history, right? His only sells are for taxes, and since 2021, he hasn't sold all of it, right? Like he still has like a significant amount of remaining shares. And then with the stock dividend, this man is like well over 5 million shares now, which is quite a bit. So you'd have to think if this guy's still holding shares and not even with the company, why is he still doing that? He must still believe in what they're doing in some way or another. But again, it's interesting because I also wonder, I'm like, since he's not an insider when he leaves the company, is it being reported? But I think at this point, this April time period, and especially by June, I'm pretty sure he was already gone at that point. Maybe he was in his final days. So I'm not 100% sure on this. I feel like it could be a case of he could have sold and it's not reported, but I also feel like it could be a case of there's a reason he's not selling. But I don't know if anyone else has any more info on that, but I haven't heard anything like more from him, or it's, the unfortunate like nature of all this reporting is it's so like just strange and all these like particular rules. So it's just so hard to like truly get the picture of what's going on each time, right? Like, it's crazy. Now imagine AMC to Uranus, AMC. Here you are. Speaking of Flit, instead of dividend, the SC or whoever just ignore Ryan Cohen complaints. What's next? That's a good question, Danzo. Just considering how there was speculation as to the DTC handling it improperly, and just the whole German brokerage things where they were saying like we didn't quite get the shares delivered, or like there's like all these strange things going on. I think all that really validated was that it's all just numbers and ledgers, right? Because all the shares are in the name of Seed and Co. And unfortunately, I think it couldn't really prove anything because it's just like I don't know. It's like, yeah, look, we changed the amount of shares, and yeah, if theoretically numbers were skewed and there's already more shares than exist, all that did was like multiply the problem. But you'd have to think if the problem existed prior to the stock dividend happening, stock dividend split, whatever you want to call it, it's just there afterwards, just like kind of blown up or just even more so of a problem. So I feel like maybe it was intended with putting pressure on and just something in the longer term. But I think it was one of those like at the time, it seems like this is it. Like this is the kill shot, or like this is like the play, all those kinds of thoughts. But I feel like in hindsight, I'm now thinking like, well, if the problem existed before, stock dividend isn't necessarily just going to fix it like that. But it would seriously put a lot of pressure on the problem and make the problem that much bigger. And you have to also remember GameStop could theoretically do another 3-for-1 stock dividend split or just stock split, whatever, because now they're authorized to have up to 1 billion shares outstanding for the company. So that would mean theoretically, with a little over 300 million shares outstanding currently, they could do another stock dividend split. And then you'd have to think if that happens again, if there truly is a problem, it's just being multiplied once more, which again, it might not force anything necessarily, but I think it just highlights the problem even more so and just makes it like even more pressure just on the situation as a whole, if that makes sense. But then I have the thought process now, wait a minute, if it were to happen again and the first one truly wasn't handled properly, it could be extremely difficult. But then I have the other thought right now, and like literally I just go off the dome, guys. Then Ryan Cohen and GameStop's executives lawsuits, right? Like I don't think they want to deal with lawsuits because the unfortunate thing is with lawsuits, it will one probably result in the stock not trading, right? We have to freeze it to like analyze the lawsuit, blah blah blah. Or like I don't know. My point is like I feel like anything could happen after seeing what happened in January 2021 to go as far as to remove the buy button for individuals. Anything could truly happen out there, and that's why I think DRS. I personally like having my shares there. I feel the most comfortable because I think seeing what happened in January of 2021, it's very evident that the brokers will truly do whatever's best for their own interests at the end of the day. Or if potentially they're getting a call from the top, they're going to listen to them. That's what it seems like. That's what it seemed like happened in January of 2021. I don't know if anybody remembers, but I remember I had like an Ally Invest account with like a full day or two. I couldn't even like get in, and I had a couple of GameStop shares there, and I was like trying to call them, and it's just impossible to get it. It was like estimated hold time 2 hours. I'm like what? Like there was like no customer service in that time period, and not to say that maybe ComputerShare wouldn't be like loaded with requests and like loaded with attention at the time, but you know you could still buy and sell through them because the shares are booked in your name. So it's truly your decision at the end of the day. And I see these things now, oh, I don't think DRS is working, or oh, I don't think it's the best option. I think it's as simple as if your share is in a brokerage account, it is not your name. It's that simple. If it's in a brokerage account, it's in the name of Seed & Co. if it's in computer share, it's registered to your name. So that is what it simply boils down to. And as individuals continue to just directly register shares, it's just that many less shares in the name of Seed& Co. But at the end of the day, individuals are individuals, right? They're going to make their own decisions. And what I just want to encourage people to do is to do research and due diligence so you can make those own decisions. And when you do make a decision for yourself, you can feel confident in it, even if other people tend to disagree or whatnot. AMC to Uranus. The board isn't going to do anything about the split, in my opinion. Thoughts on Hood earnings? Instead dividend. Let's core, aka the end of MOS. Split was just the next step, a part of the turnaround. Next is profitability. I think you're right, AMC to Uranus. Profitability is absolutely what the company should be focusing on, and I think that's really what it all boils down to, and just making everything happen and delivering value to shareholders, all those sorts of things. But I didn't actually see Hood's earnings. Let me check that out. Let's see if that works. The market is constantly pricing in the future. When the future changes, the market experiences whiplash. True XBit. What's happening with BBBY in your opinion? Daily Dimes, thank you for being here. Ignatus just wrote the longest anti-DRS FUD and told everyone to lend out their shares on our GME and our Superstock. LOL. Yeah, Denzel, I think I might have seen that actually, which I found very strange, like kind of out of nowhere. And in terms of what's happening with BBBY, I think, there's a lot of different things happening. One, I think, a lot of people are trading it or messing with it one way or another. And let me just quickly look at users declined 6 straight quarters. That is horrible. Fucking hate this guy. Look at that fucking smirk. Scumbag. Sorry. Bed Bath and Beyond. But what do I think is happening? Well, one, like I said, a lot of things. Yesterday alone, right? Like this is just so bizarre for a stock just run up like this and just crash to like exactly where it was. But in this time period, why this happened is they came out and they're like, okay, we're issuing stock. They were able to raise like $200 million in one day. Like that's insane, right? So there's definitely something going on there, and I think there's retail interest. But I think it's going to take a lot to save the company because they're still heavily in debt. They still have a lot to do. They simply don't have the passion, in my opinion, that GameStop has behind it. And I feel like a lot of people are more so in it just for the trade, just for the quick buck. Whereas GameStop, you have a lot of individuals in it now for the long term and just believing in what the company's doing. God damn, 8:45, yo. How does time fly like this? It's crazy. But yeah, I don't know why he would write like anti-DRS, like I don't know, but in a weird way, this is just me maybe, but when I start seeing stuff like that, like anti-DRS and ants trades coming out of nowhere, being like AMC, yeah, like this guy I've never heard of, gains 10,000 subscribers, does all this stuff, and then Bed Bath is like heavily pushed to the masses, right? You can't help but wonder why does this always happen when GameStop's running, and then I think I'm like, is this really? We must be close, right? We must be close to a big move for GameStop. Or what I always kind of think is whenever there's like narratives or like Bed Bath starts running and AMC starts running, it seems like it's being front run for whatever like price action GameStop's going to go through. It's being front run with narratives of like these other stocks so that people start trading Bed Bath and AMC and nobody will ever just start heavily trading GameStop because if you heavily like a lot of people start getting into GameStop, even just to get in and to get out, it moves the stock very dramatically now when people are like trading it. Like if you look at the volume on GameStop, I think that's because individuals are DRSing. Because like I was saying before, it all comes down to shares being booked in your name for DRS, right? They're registered to your name. When they're in a brokerage, they're in the name of Seed& Co. So if they're in the name of Seed & Co., who knows who's like where they really are at any given moment in time? Because like we were kind of talking about before, about the market makers, how their role is to just kind of make the market. So they'll kind of just keep making the market, even if it means using the same pile of shares over and over again. That's what it seems. So, shit, what was I going to show you guys? Just volume over time. That's what I was going to show you. and just looking like at the volume over the past 2 years, it's just been declining. And I just feel like if we had any significant volume again, it would move the stock so much and so dramatically so fast. Because think about now, we've had days where there's like only 4 million volume and the stock will have already moved 10%. That's not even that much volume. And I truly believe, it's my humble opinion, you can disagree, that this is happening because of DRS. Like, look at what's happening with GameStop. Like, in terms of like these moves, and when you zoom out, like relatively, it's fallen, yes, but it's kind of had this like weird sideways action to it, right? Where it just kind of bounces up, but then slowly trails down. But if you look at Bed Bath over the past 2 years, right, it's just down from its peak. It's just down. Like with these big spikes up, these big dramatic spikes up, right? Big moves. You might think, oh, big money to be made. But look how big the moves are. They come way up and way down on tons of volume. GameStop barely has any volume and makes fairly dramatic moves. So my thought is Bed Bath's the play. AMC's the play. Put all these names out there as the next big play, right? Because, or always front run stories of meme stocks and trades and this and that, because you know there's going to be a time period where GameStop stock price is going to upward cycle. And if it ever became a scenario again where all of a sudden everyone on the internet just was like, I'm going to buy GameStop, I'm going to buy GameStop. Now with a significant portion of GameStop DRS, I think that FOMO would be like catastrophic, or like when we could see something, need I say, parabolic, right? And another example of this is just when I go to AMC. Like, again, if you look at the stock price in the past 2 years, or in this case, if you look at since June, it's just very dramatically down. But the moves it'll make in the process are fairly large moves. Like they'll have huge spikes in like short periods of time, right? Look at this 3 weeks here, very dramatic moves. 3-4 weeks here, very dramatic moves. And they're all coincided with GameStop. And even like, right, like another company, GNS now, that comes out of nowhere. All of a sudden it's like, oh, that's funny. It just so happened to be making the big moves the same time. Like this was just after January, March 2021 run up for GameStop. It makes these dramatic moves, but like look at its overall like trajectory, just down. And then see another big move, but like each time we've seen this, we kind of see how it ends. But oh, this time's different because they're fighting the short sellers. Fight the short sellers by delivering value to your shareholders. That's how you fight short sellers. I'm gonna tweet that right now. How to deliver value, or to how to fight back against short sellers. Deliver shareholder value in the long term. How to truly fight back against short sellers. Deliver shareholder value in the long term. GME. I'll just put it out there. Just a random tweet. Why not? Fuck it. What up, everyone? Whiskey, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Let's see. My only GME, and I am a GME holder as well. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, man. Daily Dimes, thank you for being here. Like I was kind of saying before, at the end of the day, everybody's an individual, can make their own decisions. So I'll say what I think. You're always more than welcome to disagree, but I really think it's just important that individuals always do due diligence. That's number one. Damn, I need some water. I read the share offering is to one investor. Wonder who it is. Ah, interesting. See, I didn't hear that, Dan. So that's interesting. And that's kind of the thing with Bed Bath too. And like I'll say like what I understand about it, but I'm not following it that closely either, because like one, I'm mostly focused on GameStop, and two, it's just not kind of something on my radar right now. Like it's on my radar, but my point is like I'm not catching like those like particular details, such as the fact they were all sold to one individual. That's certainly interesting, but I wonder if that one individual could be an entity and maybe not an individual, right? Because when you're an individual, right, when you book a share to your name, you're actually booking it in DRS to your social security number. Like that's who you are, registered to you. But like for example, I have an LLC like for my channel and just that I set up like actually before I even created my YouTube channel, I said I'm creating an LLC because I want to start a business. I don't know what I'm going to do or how exactly I'm going to start it, but I'm creating a business. I want to be a businessman. That's something I'm passionate for, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm doing it. So I created the LLC, and part of my original plan with the LLC was let me just buy some stocks in here, and over time, I'll now have a track record because my entity I'll have like be like, look, Tetron LLC has had this performance over time, and I could show you like what was in the account. But now it's more so kind of become the YouTube channel and whatnot. But my point is, I also have a separate computer share account for my LLC for my EIN, and those shares are directly registered to my EIN rather than my social security number. So I wonder if it's not one individual, it's one entity, and maybe, that looks great, but it's just one entity, and then that entity has tons of different people that put money into it, if that makes sense. So maybe it's a little bit like deceptive, but again, just speculating. Bro, I wish they would stop tagging AMC and BBB to GME. Why can't they just let us be? It's true, Big Clef. Honestly, I think it's very much on purpose. And if you notice, nobody in GameStop does that with these other names. And I think it's, one, because of the strength of just individuals collectively believing in GameStop. It's just truly unique, unlike the other names. Oh, I gotta be careful. I'm gonna spell this. Um, so I feel like they want to just piggyback off of that. And kind of like I was saying before, where if truly GameStop does have massive underlying short interest, right? And in like not okay, even without that, right? With just considering DRS right now, any massive volume spike or influx of people buying the stock is going to move it very chaotically because as we've seen, it doesn't even take much volume for GameStop to move massively now. We've seen days where it can be up 10% to start the day on only like a few million in volume, and it's like just imagine significant volume. And I feel like part of what brings back significant volume is good news and things the company's doing. And I truly feel like there's a lot they've been working on. Like I don't know if I've said this or been clear enough about this. Since like January 2021, they've been working on a lot and they've done a lot. And great things take time. But I feel like there's a lot they've been working on this whole time, the low key, that we just don't quite know yet, right? Where it's like it's part of something truly massive they're building for something maybe that's not even meant to come out. So like later this year, right? We truly don't have any information, I would say, on Gmerica. I used to think Gmerica would be the NFT marketplace, but don't forget, GameStop has a patent for Gmerica, so you can't help but wonder that still has to be something. And like they filed that like in 2021, late 2021, as far as I'm aware. So you'd have to think they've been doing something with that throughout this entire time, right? And you just wonder, you just speculate, and that's where people come with Bye Bye Baby, and also, Teddy.com. Is that something with something else? So just a fascinating saga to always, like read about these things. But you got to wonder just what is the company doing behind the scenes? Like, I really feel like they're doing a lot behind the scenes that we just aren't exactly aware of. And that's kind of what makes it so scary to bet against GameStop. And I feel like that's kind of what makes this so beautiful as a whole, in a sense, if that makes sense. Never let the enemy know the plan. First rule of Fight Club is we don't talk about Fight Club. Ryan Sung, I think Carl Icahn discloses his positions next week, so we'll see. That's very interesting if he does. I haven't heard that, but I hope he does. That would be certainly very interesting to see. Like, what's truly going on? How true were these narratives that, oh, Carl Icahn is short GameStop, right? Like, that was so random out of nowhere. So, I would like to see some reporting on Carl Icahn's positions. I wonder, is that, like, let's see. Well, he has Icon Enterprises, right? So I would assume he has to. Um, Carl Icahn. I'll just search him up, see what comes up right now. Hmm. Yeah, honestly, guys, it's sad what's happening in New York. Like, I don't want to get too into that, but just seeing this, like, everybody's leaving and just so much crime and things, and like, it's just scary. Because I'm relatively close to New York City, so like, I don't go there. I haven't been there in a very long time, and like, kind of don't really have a desire to go because you just hear like a lot of crazy stuff going on there. Um, so yeah, it's just sad though because it's like it's supposed to be the city that never sleeps. You know, it's supposed to be Empire State Building, like New York State, New York City, baby. Like like I don't know. I feel like it doesn't have that anymore, and that's just kind of sad. That it's I don't know. It just ain't the same. But I don't know. I'm not from there. I don't go there. Whatever. But I don't know if you know Ryan Sung. Are you aware of where Carl Icahn will be reporting, or because I definitely want to keep an eye out for like anything he's going to be reporting or coming out with in terms of just updates of his position. I know there's Icon Enterprises. Some people get rich studying artificial intelligence. Me, I make money studying natural stupidity. Pretty funny line. Yeah, I remember everyone was fired up for this, but he just talked about like some real general stuff on this. Excuse me. My proxy fights McDonald's and Kroger differed from most companies I target as activists because both are performing well financially. They show lack of okay, that's like random. Um, See, it's also hard to say too when they come out. Oh, Carl Icon's doing this or that. Now, is Carl Icon doing that, or is Icon Enterprises doing that? Right? Like, gotta ask yourself that question. Stocks hold up relatively well the past year. Oh, I might have to wrap it up soon. Getting pretty tired. That can't be right. Is it? I gotta dig into Icon Enterprises a little more. Maybe we could do that right now. Let's see. Training Fraternity just posted a video of Carl Icon. Interesting. What do they post? Like, just him talking about something, or? Um, Set a roster. Oh, Brett Icon. So is he? Maybe he's not with Icon Enterprises anymore. I'm not even exactly sure. I'm not like I'm familiar with Carl Icahn, and like I said, I watched before. I watched like a little bit of documentary on him, but I'm not more so familiar with Icon Enterprises or like what exactly he has there with that. But I see they pay out some fat freaking dividends. Like that's pretty monstrous. Huge dividend yield. It's interesting how the company's held up relatively well, but also like in the long term, it's not like the price has gone up. So very interesting company and fat dividends. I'll put it in Discord. Good luck, XBit. Oh yeah, if you guys want the Discord link, I should probably share that. I got to get the Discord going with some people. I'm actually going to share that link right now for anybody that wants it. You're more than welcome to join. Just please don't spam or I'll boot you because or just don't give the link to random people also because I'm just getting started and I'll be honest, like Discord, if it gets loaded with spam, like I'm just gonna delete it. Like so I don't want to have to delete my Discord server. But also I'm just getting started, so it's all good. Let me grab the Discord link. Whoop. See, we got a little action in here. We got Danzo and XPit chatting it up. We love to see it. Yeah, I gotta add all the bots and stuff. See, that's just another thing I gotta do, guys. I gotta at some point sit down, really get the Discord server going. But ultimately, what I want to do with the Discord server is like, especially you guys that are here right now in the stream. If you're here right now, like you probably watch the channel a decent amount, and I thank you very much. And I want to have like a thing that I could check on, right? Where like if I'm at work, because a lot of times what's going on is I'm at work and I'm trying to keep up with things. I'm reading on Twitter. I'm reading what's going on throughout the day. I'm checking the stock, but like I don't want to like I have to do my job, you know what I mean? And also like I don't want it to be like every time like a member of management or something comes by, I'm just like on my phone, you know what I mean? Or just have GameStop pulled up. I'm like, I want to make it look like I'm doing my work, and like, obviously I'm getting my work done. Like that's my priority. But my point is, it'd be cool to have a source where I could be like, let me see, let everyone's chatting about GameStop today, or like someone could be like, yo, Tetron, you seeing this? And I'll like when I have a minute, I'm like, oh shit, yo, XBit just told me about it, or yo, Danzo just gave me a heads up about this. I better look into that after work, like first thing, or oh, I better look into that on the stream tonight, right? Like that kind of stuff. So, like I said, I'm still working out all the details, and I got to figure out all the stuff like that. But that's kind of my goal with the Discord, honestly. Um, hidden, nice. I guess because I'm live right now. Oh yeah, I gotta invite. See, these are the early members. We're just getting the ball rolling. I'm also gonna actually invite my boy Nathan from Florida. Go server link. He's expected to file a new update to his portfolio for the year end. Oh, okay, very nice. I'll definitely be looking out for that. And for example, Ryan, if you see that before I come across it, just drop it in Discord. Be like, yo, icon filing's out. Check it out when you have a chance. And like, I can't promise I'll always get to everything, guys, but just to kind of a source to kind of like interact with you guys, or just like a main like my GME spot, if that makes sense. I don't know, but we'll just see where it goes, see where it takes us. So. Again, appreciate you all. Shout out to Uncle Luke if you're here. He's a chill dude. Awesome. Rocket Cinnamon, thank you. This is actually amazing. I gotta do this, yeah. GameStop update. What a guy. See, this is what's so awesome too. I love like about doing these live streams. Like Rocket Cinnamon just made this for me. Like I didn't ask for it. He didn't have to do this at all. He just or she or he just had like, you know what? I'm just gonna make this. Like, thank you. Just joined. Thanks, Whiskey. Thank you for joining. Yeah, the general GME talk, and yeah, eventually I'll set this up where it's like, um, what's it called? That like can't use English. Oh my goodness. Like I want to have it where like anything I tweet will like automatically come here, right? Or it'll be like just a like so you'll be like, oh, like what is Tetron been tweeting? You could catch up like on some of my old tweets. And anytime I go live, then I would just maybe have the link like pull up in here. That would be cool. And then any of my new videos, and then general GME talk. And then you could just add some other servers like random. And eventually, if you guys ever want to do like some voice chat, like I'm down to like just talk. You know, if I got some time, we just vibe. Maybe some weekend stuff, play some games. But that's what I'm thinking too. Like in the down the line to like really, I think a great thing would be to like play like the games that GameStop's launching through their like NFT marketplace and just utilizing the product, right? That's what it's all about. And I actually have a couple friends eventually. We're gonna maybe do like a podcast type of thing, or I'll have some people on where they're not so much so like involved with GameStop or like, and I say this in the most like humbling way, like they obviously don't know as much as about me, or like probably even like you guys watching, or like they'll follow what's going on, they'll keep up with what I'm kind of saying, but they're not like reading about it every single day like myself and like a lot of other individuals out there. So I feel like having them on to just, talk about Web3 and gaming and just kind of their perspective on it. Because honestly, a lot of my friends are gamers. So I feel like that's like the good aspect or like perspective they could bring by coming on just to talk about like their life as gamers. Like, what is this whole like GameStop NFT and gaming meant to them over time, especially hearing me talk about it so much. Like that's another thing. I eventually want to have like a coworker on. They said he would probably come on. We could do like just a fun little interview where we could talk and be like, I'll be like, hey, so what is it like working with me? Or what have you learned about GameStop since you've met me like a little over a year ago? Or like, like I just, I don't know. I just got some different ideas out there, but I don't know any of that. If you guys want to share what you think, you're more than welcome. Ask Morantz. He has all his spots set up pretty good. You're right, Danzo. I gotta hit up Morantz. That's a good idea, actually. He got me. Morantz is such a homie. Shout out to him. I'm sure all of you know Morantz if you're here, because he's bigger than me in terms of GameStop. But he's been so open arms to me and just supportive of me and my channel. And like I said, I'm just a regular dude out here talking about GameStop. And that guy hustles, man. He's on the grind. So like I respect his hustle so much and just how he's been so good to me. So shout out to you, Morantz. Um, You'll get a tight community rolling. This is the way, Ryan sung. I'm a Morant spot. Beep boop. Whiskey, thanks for being here. But yeah, no, I'm gonna hit up Morant's for that because yeah, I see he has it set up really nice on his server. I don't want to go showing all his stuff on the side here, but yeah, definitely we'll be keeping an eye out for Carl Icon's next filing. I think I'm gonna wrap it up. I feel like we got some decent stuff. We can kind of pull up the Excel here, see what we got so far. Can't zoom out on this. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Yep. So yeah, just some general information. I mean, this is pretty still bone dry, but I think it looks way better than the last stream. And at least we have some information and the miscellaneous. And I'll try and go back and put some more notes because I realize it's kind of hard to like make notes on the spot or like I don't know, at least like here. Like I really advise you guys like well, I don't provide financial advice, so I guess it's more of my opinion. But I literally like too. I be saying that too much. But I just really encourage you guys read GameStop's investor relations. Read about these individuals. These are such short blurbs. Like you should at least know like the basics right here. I feel like I've read all these like a gazillion times. But yeah, just the simple stuff, and just read like what the company comes out with. Like SEC filings, right? Like I have it set up where I forgot exactly how I did it, but yeah, sign up for alerts. Just do this. Anything the company comes out with, put your email, have it sent to you. I'm sure you get a gazillion emails. What's like one more here and there? Excuse me. And then, I mean, I like it because I want like anytime GameStop officially files something, I'm like, oh, the company has officially filed something. This comes from they themselves, like the company themselves. So I always think that's interesting. Amendment to a filing, right? And just anything coming out here. This was like the BlackRock thing about like significant percentage. So it's just an amendment, it's like nothing major. And actually with Nathan from Florida, you guys should check out my live stream I did with him. We had a nice conversation, and we actually had a part of the conversation talking about BlackRock, how BlackRock and also like Vanguard, but mostly BlackRock, pretty much have their hands in everything. Like if you look at almost any stock, BlackRock owns a significant amount of it. And Nathan brought up a good point where it's like you almost never hear about BlackRock in the news, but when you look into it, BlackRock owns significant stake in like Fox Media, CNBC, right? Like all the different names, like both sides, like left and right. So neither of them are really talking about them, considering they're kind of owned by them. So they're kind of like these like it's like a giant organization BlackRock is, and there's so little about them out there, right? Like so, but yet they own like every stock, right? Including GameStop. They're the largest institutional holder, and they just significantly increased their position. But also they loan out a significant amount of shares, right? So I think also kind of going back to what I said before, that this image right here, right, is very simply telling you institutional ownership for GameStop right now has not been the same it has been since January of 2021 or early of 2021. So while it may not mean just like, oh, the stock's going to explode, right? I'm not saying that. I'm saying, one, I think a lot of shares are being lent out, but I think it's really important to ask, why now is institutional ownership spiking? Why is BlackRock and Vanguard and all these other large names increasing their positions by like 300%? All out of nowhere, right? And this seems to have happened already, or not seems to, it did happen already. It's not like it's happening right now, unless we continue to get updated reports of filings of companies that are buying even more. But it seems like this kind of happened over the past couple months, and that was part of what took the company from down here up to here. But again, even if they're being used as like low shares to be loaned to short sellers, these institutions now still own the underlying shares, and they felt the need to go out there and acquire the shares, even if it's the purpose of loaning them. They still went and got them, and that just, again, theoretically, less shares trading hands, right? Because it should be in the names of the institutions. And then you have all the shares that are held at DRS are booked in individuals' names, and those aren't really like changing hands. So you start to wonder, like, is it just the same small group of shares kind of changing hands every day? And is it getting to the point that they're changing hands so fast and there's such a limited amount of legit shares that now these institutions are like, we see the writing on the wall. We need to have a significant amount of shares, even if we're just going to continue to loan them out and kick the can down the road as long as we can. And the whole, oh, DRS isn't working. I personally don't believe that. Um, but what I'm saying is, like, even if it's to kick the can down the road, it's still like with intention of like owning the share. Like, they still went and bought the shares. There has to have been a reason they went to bought the shares. And even if it's just to loan them out, they still went and bought them. They dumped them on the market in the future. That's fine, because then I think individuals will come out and buy them. Like, I don't know, I guess I'm kind of like rambling at this point because it's kind of the end of the night and I'm like getting a little tired. But my point is, like, it doesn't matter what you think or what exactly it means. Like, institutions bought a ton of shares for the first time since 2021. The question is why? That is the big question. Why now? Why so many shares? What purpose, right? All those questions are, I think, to be answered, and we'll just kind of see as 2023 rolls on. But I think I'll kind of leave it there today. I'll check chat one more time. I mostly keep GameStop on the low in person. I've had lots of people scratching their heads about what I say. A systematic risk is so rare that it's reserved for a holy few. True. So I was taking out the trash. What day does Icons filings come out? I just know it was as of next week. I don't know. I don't think there's a date. So BlackRock bought GameStop. Okay, I see how it is. BlackRock buys everything. True. Ryan Sung, yeah, finally theories come out. Can come to rest next week. Thank you. Yes, that would be very exciting to see Icons filings and see what theories are true. Is he shorting GameStop? Like, what's really going on? Think it's possible that brokers used the split against us by not handling it correctly, and you think that they've resolved the split as of yet? I think if an issue was created out of the split, it's hard to think that it was resolved. It was maybe just, yeah, maybe resolved in the sense of like it was an issue and just over time, like that whole like DRS and then on DRS had something to do with that. Maybe I think that's certainly possible, but in terms of, you bring up a very good question right there. Do you think, or point, whatever, do you think it's possible that brokers used the split against us by not handling it correctly? That's a great, great brainstorm right there, XFET, because in theory, suddenly there'd just be a lot more shares out there to borrow. So it's like maybe that helped them actually kick the can down the line. And if Ryan Cohen did that knowing they would be so deep of a hole already that they'd be willing to just dig themselves deeper just to buy time, like, pretty big brain play. So I like the thought of it, but I can't say for certain on it. But I think it's certainly a possibility, and I think that's what makes it really interesting. Because you're right, it seems like it wasn't handled properly. It seems just like whatever. But then it was like after the like stock split dividend happened, price kind of like went way up for like the first couple days, if I remember correctly, and then just kind of started crashing down back to business as usual. So you gotta wonder. You gotta wonder what happened there, and if we'll ever get more clarity on it down the line. Because GameStop officially did put out a thing as well that they said they were aware that there was in beneficial ownership of securities. What is this? Oh, okay, gotcha. This is just a random. But basically, they came out and said, like, we acknowledge that the stock dividend, or we are hearing issues of it. I love like the background images they have here too. Let's see, stock split. No. Oh, newsroom. Newsroom's a great place because there's not that much stuff here, but when news comes out, it's a big deal. Or if it's on here, you know it's legit. It's the most. It definitely happened. GameStop said it, not just oh Bloomberg said it or this or that. I swear they literally filed something that said we are aware of the scenario and like we are researching it, something like that. Expert Ruben, no issue was resolved. Just pushed under the MM exception. Market maker exception. Create liquidity as needed with no end. That's a good point, Ruben. It seems to be the case. I called 2D Meritrade twice, and they assured me at first they did a forward split. Then the next time I called, they assured me they received the shares. Sus. Yeah, it's interesting because it's like, I think from all the broker standpoints and like just to DTC, like they've probably never had like a stock split dividend for such a hard to borrow security and just for like something with so much demand or just of the unique situation GameStop is with its stock. I feel like they've never had that. So they probably just thought like, well, it's simple. We just just change the numbers. Like the shares are obviously there, right? Right? Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like the brokers kind of just sleepwalking through this whole thing in a sense, if that makes sense. Like they're just like, we execute, like we show the numbers on the screen. Like that's just what we do. Like, I don't know. But oh, what an interesting world. But let's say, do we see another short attack on positive QFE warnings as usual to buy a dip? Will this time be different? It's hard to say, Danzo. It seems like every time they change their playbook a little bit. But what one thing does seem to be for sure is regardless, still be a dip at some point, right? Maybe it's before earnings, after. I couldn't tell you exactly when, but it seems like there'll be probably a big move up and then a big move down, one way or not. Like probably it'll move both ways dramatically throughout the time of earnings. So I feel like that's just to, kind of get people all nervous or just short and distort, whatever you want to look at it as. But one thing I wanted to go back on, that Ryan Sung said that you kind of keep it to yourself because a lot of people start scratching their heads. Funny enough, when I started my job now, I started telling people about it because I talked to a couple guys about GameStop, and I'm like, it sounds crazy, but I'm really into GameStop. And it's just still, I was like kind of new to my channel, so like I didn't really tell anyone about my channel when I first, obviously when I first started my job. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, bro, check out my YouTube. And especially at that time, I was like really tiny, so because this was like early, 2022, I started my job, like actually first week of January. So I decided I was like, all right, like I'll just start kind of telling some people, and I'm talking to the guy that works in tech, and he's like, I just found out from because we have a sister company in the same building, and sometimes I guess the tech teams work together. So I didn't know this guy, so I would have never even met him. But he goes, like the tech guy, I'm talking to him, and he goes, yeah, I have somebody you should meet. He told me he also holds GameStop, and I was like, what? Like my eyes, like I was like, no way. And he's like, yeah, he said that you guys should meet too. He reads Superstock or something like that. So like we met, like he introduced us, like we had lunch together, like just we were gonna have lunch one day. He's like, yeah, I'll just tell him to come. And then like we sat down at the table, and it was just hilarious. Like he knew everything I knew, but or we just immediately went into GameStop talk, and the tech guy that like introduced us, we were talking like, yeah, like I really believe the company is like going to be worth so much more in the long term, like for what they're doing, even outside of the short interest and everything there. And like the tech guy is just looking at us like, what the fuck? He's like, he was looking, he's like, I can't believe I'm hearing right now. You guys are like, this is like any other two people would be like, oh, GameStop, this is that. You guys are so bullish. And like, I don't know, it's just a funny experience that I met somebody else in my building. Like there are GameStop shareholders out there. I don't know if you guys have met random ones. I met a guy at a bar once that he told me, he's like, I kind of explained everything. We started talking, and he's like, I'm like, so do you own any GameStop? He's like, yeah, I own a little. I'm just kind of letting it ride because I follow like very gently, like here and there, like kind of with Superstock and GameStop, and it's just an interesting saga. And then I just started explaining a lot to him and gave him my YouTube channel. That's one of my favorite things to do at the bars, guys. If any of you are here from that, that's awesome. Because I'll get to like I'm just at the bar, and like I have a girl, so like I'm not trying to like be making moves. It's no fun. So either like the boys are interested in someone, I'm like, I got you, bro. Or otherwise, like I'm just talking to people random, or just friends, whoever's there, and you would guess it, right? Like GameStop's a common topic that I think of, or like it's something, like what are your hobbies? Like what do you do? Oh, talk about GameStop. Like so, it's come up, and it's certainly been interesting. I've seen so many reactions up and down, and like anybody that immediately says to me, like almost like nobody will just be like, oh, you're an idiot right away, because I feel like I come across it in like the right way, but some will be like, I just cannot see how you seriously think that, and I'll just say like, just watch. Like that's my favorite. I would always, or like now what I kind of say to someone like for the first time, like figure like just say, I'm really into GameStop. Like I said it to like some guy that kind of recently started working there at my job, and like I'm just like talking to him, just kind of shooting the shit, and I'm like, because he said he used to be like financial advisor actually, or he had some role like basically helping people and choosing like their investments and stuff like that. And I said, I was like, it sounds crazy, but I'm really into GameStop. And I think he's been out of financial advising for like a little while now. I don't know his whole entire story, right? But basically, he was like, "Oh, interesting." Like, or I just said, how I prefaced it, I was like, "It sounds crazy, but just keep an eye on GameStop. I really think there's something big going on there." And I've been investing since January 2021. And I feel like anytime I say that, people are like, since January 2021? What the fuck is wrong with this guy, But in a weird way, I like it. I love being the underdog. Like, I almost want someone to be like, bro, you're so stupid. Why would you put your money there? Then I'm like, it's my money. Why do you care, bruh? Like, I put my money where my mouth is. Like, and I just think I'm like, I don't even have to ever go back to any of these people and be like, haha, I got you. Like, I have haters, guys. Believe me, I have haters. Like, I think everyone's pretty nice to me relatively in the comments and stuff like that. But I have haters, guys. Don't get me wrong. Um, but I like it, like, because I don't have to go to these people either and be like, oh, I got you. I told you GameStop was gonna go up one day. I'm just gonna reap the financial benefits and just keep building my channel. And to me, that's all I need. And they'll just think, shit, he literally tried to tell me, and I just try to call him an idiot. So it's their loss, and they'll just feel sorry at the end. I mean, that's just my take on it, my opinion, but I think I've said it like several times now. I'll leave it there, but I think I'll really leave it there this time. Who here doesn't have haters? True, XBit. I love the haters. I love the people that think like you're like I love. I don't know if this is just a like I like the idea that people think I'm a little bit crazy. Like I don't know why. Like I like that a little bit. Like I don't know. um, they all have more patience. They have more patience than us, or that's what they think. That's a good point too, XBit. I think that's very much the case. See, Danzo, I buy a few thousand every 2 months with my 401k funds. Nice. Ruben, whiskey. GME market cap is relatively low in comparison to our cash assets and growth potential. I can't imagine any astronomical dips from where we're at. I think you're absolutely right, Ryan Song. And even if there is, I think fine. Then I'm just going to buy more because I'm going to think, wow, what a great opportunity to invest in something I believe in the long term. And it just seems like a ton of other individuals will feel the same. And that'll probably just naturally lead to like a larger increase of DRS, just more shares booked in individuals' names. And it all comes down to, guys, the company succeeding, the company driving success, focusing on profitability, getting into Web3, all these different things. And my passion behind the brand and your passion behind the brand, individuals' passions behind the brand, I really think kind of make this like a self-fulfilling prophecy that any underlying short interest will just eventually just bubble up into the point of just, right? Because of the passion behind individuals that like the company and they want to support the company any way they can, like shopping there, right? All that kinds of stuff. I really think it's just so important. GME investing is way better than 401k. That thing is boring. Who here doesn't have haters? And last thing I'll show you guys. Hang tight 1 second. But also, full disclosure, if you guys saw wearing sweatpants, when I get home from work, I take off my dress pants because I got them dirty one time, like preparing for a live stream, because usually I'm like eating, prepping the stream or whatever, and then I'm like, fuck, I literally got it on my pants, I'm like, I can't have that again. So that, and also I want to be comfortable in like suit pants all day, or like dress pants. So I'm like, all right, I'll rock the sweatpants. But what I'm gonna show you guys is GameStop batteries. Anytime I need batteries now, and I'm ordering something from GameStop anyway, like when I got this headset, I ordered a bunch of batteries because I need them. Like one of my favorite things to do, like when I just have the boys over, is we just run some classic Wii games. And Wii batteries, I mean, Wii remotes require batteries. TV remotes require batteries, right? So I always like to just have some batteries in my basement for running Wii with the boys, and just everybody needs some batteries in their house, right? So my point is like, why would you just not buy them from the company you love? Just because like you literally love the company, and like I just feel like no normal person is just buying GameStop batteries, but individuals, I don't think I'm the only individual doing it, right? Which kind of just tells me like the true passion behind GameStop's brand, and I think if they can just keep executing on, or like, how do I say this, like growing while maintaining the passion of shareholders. Like any company's dream is to have the passion of shareholders, passionate shareholder group that GameStop has. Any other company I think would dream of that. Tesla's kind of an example, but I think GameStop's just on an even greater scale. And I think GameStop will rise up much more to an even greater scale than Tesla did, even during its like squeeze or run up phase, whatever you want to call it. But okay, guys, now I really got to wrap it up. I'm getting fucking beat. I'm so tired. Thoughts on Michael Burry returning as the market's dip? Interesting. Excuse me. He's been saying the market's going to crash forever, and I feel like he has some valid points. And like, I do feel like this time is different, and it seems like it still very much could be a bad market before we get into like a bull market again. But I don't know. It's hard. He's like the little boy that cried wolf, though, because he's always like, ever since 2008, market crash, all the market crashes coming. He's been talking about it forever, and it's like, yeah, he might eventually be right, and it might be the most chaotic crash ever, but he's still been saying it forever. So it's not like he's just like, oh, he's here now. Now it's really gonna happen. You know, like I don't know, like he said it so many times now that it's like it's hard to think like, oh, like next month, yeah, now it's really gonna hit. You know, it's like I don't know. I don't know. I guess is the best answer. But I feel like it doesn't mean too much, unfortunately. I buy those batteries too, and I load my work truck with those. Nice. That's the way to go, Ruben. Support the company, man. But, all right, guys. Hope everyone has a good night. Take care. Thank you for being here for Tetron Live.